You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
And good evening. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia, coming at you live. criticalmassradio.co.uk on 2 for Tuesday, second edition. Won't be rolling over tonight, boys and girls, so just letting you know up front. Just the way I feel. So it's been a long year. Anyway, yeah. Where do I want to go tonight? There was a lot of different things that I was thinking about. Not one of them is really congealing into any formulated idea. But I seem to think that people still have many questions with regards to system and what have you. It seems to be always the common theme when people contact me, and how do I deal with this, and what do I do about this, and I'm worried about if I do this, I've got family, and that. It says, I understand, I totally understand that. And this is what occurs when the left brain ego mind is left to run the imagination instead of you, right? So, excuse me, that's what happens when, that little molehill that we all love to build into this huge mountain, which it's not there. And it's like, if you can imagine a big mound of dirt in front of you, and you've got a shovel, and you've got to take that mound of dirt from here and put it somewhere else. When you first look at the mound of dirt, it's very overwhelming. And for anyone that's ever moved a yard of gravel or whatever, a yard might not sound like that much, but it's a lot when you've only got you, a shovel, and a wheelbarrow. Yeah. It's a very overwhelming sort of thing. Would probably be much the same as the bricklayer that shows up for work in the morning to see 10 flats of nicely stacked brick, right? But like everything else, the job just gets done, and you do it one brick at a time, one brick at a time. And I simply apply that rule to my life anyway. It goes back to the allegory of dishes, How big does a pile of dishes get the longer you wait while you're comfortable watching a TV show or something? Remember the good old days? And the longer you sat and watched that show, the bigger that pile of dishes seemed to get until you finally just got up and did them, and you realized it wasn't that big a deal anyway. And you always feel better after the project's handed in, after you've had it waiting 2 weeks instead of doing it the night before. And our society has basically got us into that, everything on demand, right? Last minute delivery, basically. Well, the whole system is based on that. When you think about it, large companies don't warehouse stuff. It's basically they order things as they're going to go through them. That might give them a day or two of production. Think of a car manufacturer, for example. They don't stock everything there in their warehouses. No, they generally have railway tracks running through their buildings, and deliveries will come in 1, 2, 3 times a day to keep the production lines going. That's the way our society has built. It's basically, if one thing goes wrong, let's say, for example, that a car manufacturer that's dependent completely on those trains coming through, if something happens to that rail track, they're screwed. They've only got enough production for maybe one shift, at which point everyone goes home and the whole thing shuts down. And that's how this system is so precariously positioned. If one thing goes down in this system, the whole thing comes down. It really is that simple. Think of one, say a strike. The truckers decide to go on strike, and they've done that a few times. And there might be 2 or 3 days worth of stuff that is delivered on a demand basis, and if those trucks don't show up after the 3rd or 4th day, the shelves are empty. And that's effectively what our society has been built around. Instant gratification, overnight demand, and as a net result, we have become completely dependent on it. So think about that. Put that in perspective for a few minutes. As I often laugh when people talk about cars and whatnot and issues, going fast and everything else. And the only thing that goes through the back of my mind is, I drive knowing full well that every part in that car was supplied by the lowest bidder. Okay? You want to put your faith in the lowest bidder? Do it every single day. Let that rattle around your heads for a second. We have become such a greedy society, and that's by design, right? It's to climb up everyone else's back to succeed in the material wealth world, and the compassion of the heart has just been left to the wayside. That's why the parasites run this particular system that they love so much. Do that because, well, one, they lack compassion. It was interesting. I was watching, don't watch them too often, but occasionally I'll get emails in from Charlie Veitch, and I only watched a few minutes of it. It's just the whole banter thing of, it's so, I love Charlie, but he's still so stuck in the system thing. But anyway, he had approached this Goonie, ununiformed Goonie that was recording him with his iPad. And just the look on this guy's face said it all. This was a guy, just straight face and just nasty, typical, Bioborg. And it was about 10 seconds to look at this guy's energy. I just couldn't stomach it anymore. So I said, yeah, there's your typical cop for you. Anyway, and that's basically what we have in terms of the control of this system. I will say, had a really neat little message in from, let me just get back to it here. Not like I have to remember anybody's name. Where is it? Let me see if I got the right one here. Nope, one sec. It's actually a great little story. I will share it because this is what people need to hear to show that we are making a difference. It's Jane. That's right. Thank you, Jane. And I offered up my email as well. Now, here's what Jane has done. She sent a few messages to the Aussie Police Facebook pages today. That was yesterday, by the way. Your letter to all police agents, and received one reply saying thank you, but not their cup of tea. So I sent them, did you know you're a criminal? Said, for your next cuppa. Received this reply. I wonder where Kate of Gaia gets these facts from. There's certainly no ancient text reference. So someone is interested to know more at Equalaria Command, which is good. So Jane replies, she spent most of the last 4 years researching to find the key. The name is the point where we became slaves. The great game has been played out, but now its time is up. Indeed it is. We're reclaiming ourselves from the system, and it's time we had some true peace officers standing shoulder to shoulder with us, each taking responsibility for self. They do some reading or not. It's entirely up to them. And added this ancient text. The Narmer palette, also known as the Great Hierakonpolis palette, or the Palette of Narmer, is a significant Egyptian archaeological find dating from about the 31st century BC, containing some of the earliest hieroglyphic inscriptions ever found. And see the graphic picture of the curse of a name. A scorpion mace to the head. Narmer palette is the corporation policy officer's hands when seeking the name to contract and gain jurisdiction. Great game has been played. Now it's over. No need to reply to me. Just such a good feeling to have an inkling of interest from one planted a seed. Well, and I replied, very well done. Truth is the potent bait of all. Was. And I also said to pass along my email. If people want to talk to me direct, especially those inside the system that may be awakening to the criminality that they're doing and having not been aware of it. See, that's the thing with me is until someone's known by their actions, they get painted with the same brush that their previous actions painted them with. That's not saying that someone can't change. Well, of course they can. And the only way that that can be shown is, or proven, is by the actions they do. And this is more about getting the information in, where if you can plant the seed of, doubt in their ungodly masters that are ruling them, it doesn't take long for the spirit to wake up to that. Do these people realize that they're enslaving themselves, their families, their children, in the day-to-day execution of their duties? Do they really know this? Do they know that they're selling out completely? Do they know that they're spiritually enslaved via the name? That they've given their full consent to be that name, and moreover, they've dug an even deeper hole. And this is going back a while. That one lawyer was a friend of mine was talking to when we were exposing a lot of this stuff. This is probably about 6-7 months ago, and this lawyer had said, we're really deep. It's not easy to get into where this particular gentleman was in terms of the legal profession, actually very high up, and but it's damn near impossible to get out. And it is. There's a lot of serious repercussions for someone that has sold their soul to that level. It costs a meat stick or two. So I totally get the fear thing, and and why people simply need to stand in truth. The truth will set you free. And that's really all there is to do. Excuse me. Stand in truth. So again, thanks, Jane. That's and I don't get a lot like this, but the ones that I do get, I like to share. And but I do get a lot of posts of people talking of their successes, emails and whatnot. Dee has been going crazy with stuff, and lots of stuff is dissolving. And of course, this being April 15th, we have a full moon, or a blued moon. So let's not focus on the negative attributes of the red blood. Let's turn it into blued. Are we not coming into spring? That's what I thought too. And I was kind of wondering about that. I thought, wait a minute, the blood moon is supposed to be a harvest moon, or the hunter moon. That's when we're coming into the fall. So how can there be one in the spring unless that concept is trying to be planted in the human consciousness psyche to reenact that whole fall scenario again? Sorry, no, we're good. It's just going to be a full moon, and who knows how much shit that they've thrown into the atmosphere to make it appear red where it wouldn't normally. Isn't that funny how that works? You see, question everything, guys. That's what I do. It works for me. I don't take anything at face value. I'll look at it and listen for a bit and feel it out. And if it doesn't feel right, then I know it's bullshit. So just be mindful of that. We've been duped long enough, so. But I get the lines open early tonight, guys, because I'm really tired tonight. And I've had like over 30 spam hits of Facebook requests for, contact requests. So apparently sorry, it looks like another one just came in. Speak of the devil, let me just see. I think they're all from Namibia or Nigeria, whatever. Yeah, I've probably had about 200 in the last week. So there's another one. So that's 32 that I know so far today. There was probably a bunch when I woke up this morning. I think it was 14 or 15. Oh, actually, no, there's 21. So, yeah, so over 50 today. So I must be piquing somebody's interest. I don't know about you, but setting up a Facebook account is a pain in the ass. So, of course, when somebody sends a request and I know it's spam, I mark it as such, and that, well, they can't send a request to that name anymore. So that's I got somebody's interest. Yeah, as long as I'm keeping you entertained, that's good. What are you getting paid to do this for? Let me see, what, $100, $200 an hour? That's what your soul's worth? Cool. Well, keep at her. Don't worry about it. It's all good. You get a round trip, all expense paid, trip back to hell. Knock yourself out. Not something I would do personally, but knock yourself out. I'm good. Oh, we got Mystified, and we have Darren. Mystified, we haven't heard from you in a little bit. How are you doing? And Darren, how are you?
Hey, Keith. Yeah, all good. Just listening for a bit instead of adding to the conversation, just hearing other people's viewpoints and one thing and another. It's been some really interesting shows over the last few days, especially the water one last night.
Yeah, the power we have, it's as simple as putting your intent into the water and ingesting it. Remember, it's been said that the human body is 70%. Actually, I think it's a lot more than that. I think it's in the mid 80% water. So when you think in terms of imprinting water, now you know what an ego imprint is. So that's basically what you're doing. When you cast your intent out, that's what you're turning that water into. So it was great conversation with that, and I'm glad Darren and others chipped in and jumped all over that.
Yep,
I
definitely.
love learning too. So it's all good. And what's it, Dr. Emoto? I remember looking at his stuff a while back, the crystals and whatever, and look at that, it's real magic.
It is a blessing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the ego can even see it. It's proven in everything and scientifically, and oh my. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many of those cases out there that no one knows about. I mean, there's a healing modality, I think it's going by Quantum 2000, and it was actually approved by the FDA, reluctantly, but the awareness that those who created that or had that channeled through them gained while the FDA was trying to disprove it was far greater than they had ever would have been able to do with the means that they had. Their lab couldn't produce what the FDA could produce as far as testing it. So every time the FDA tried to disprove it, they actually proved the truth greater. And I'll try to remember I'll try to remember and find that link to the people that produced that, because I'm not sure about the name. There was naming issues around it, so. And it was literally approved by the FDA. It's one of the only healing modalities to achieve that truth, and it is based on intent and crossing your meridians, your energetic meridians.
You can't stop. Yeah, you can't stop the truth from getting through. Proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that's why those blue, green, and green, yellow algae are so good for you. I mean, I know obviously also the sea, all life came from the ocean, so that's why like a lot of the things from there is really good for you. Like alkalizing your body.
Well, certainly anything that's water based.
Yeah.
And it's living when you eat it. Not including the eating a live squid or octopus. That doesn't count.
No, algae, spirulina and chlorella.
Yes, yeah. The algae. Yeah, there's some great products out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's where I get my protein from, because I can't eat meat anymore. Just the thought of it. Well.
Yeah, there's a turkey cooked here on the weekend, and the funniest thing I ever heard. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's like, it's a carcass, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's baked skin and everything. But look, it's got such a lovely, no smile. Yeah, it's, boy, they really dress things up nicely, eh? I just, and again, people want to do that. That's their thing. But it was interesting when Siobhan was going through the phases of food, and I would consider myself a junk food vegan. I do like fries on occasion and a couple of other things. Not the mainstay of my life, but I do enjoy that. So I get what he was saying. I had a good chuckle at myself on that one. So, oh, cool, I'm a junk food vegan. Yeah, okay, that works.
I'm with you on that.
It's but again, it's
give me my fries.
Yeah, sorry, I'm Irish. I like potatoes. Get over it. And potatoes, eating them raw is just it's. I've done it. It's just not. It's not the yummiest thing. What was I going to say there? Someone had asked me about that today about foods and whatnot. And for me, the easiest answer is to partake of the fruit, because in that process you're taking, like nature, you're taking the seed from that fruit and creating more life. So it's life begetting life. It's not. The fruit is the gift of say a tree or vine or whatever the case may be, is the gift given to the courier, if you will. So it's sort of like, here's the fuel to carry the seed, so you can plant another one of me, and then that process goes on. And of course, with the rate that we are destroying land, natural land, to turn it into man-made production land is crazy. Here's a question to everybody. If mankind stays on the path it's on right now in terms of industrialization and system and building shopping malls and skyscrapers and suburbia and all the rest of it, how long do you think it's going to take for mankind to completely destroy itself on this current path?
Wait, you can't have infinite growth where the resources are finite, but the
resources
people pulling the strings don't take that into equation.
Well, exactly. If we're carrying on in our society, fomenting wars and raping and pillaging our neighbors constantly, this is the big picture I'm asking people to have a look at, and that's the system that everyone's part of. Is that really what you want to be in contract with, what you want to be in agreement with? And, for lack of a better way to put it, this is going to be your own personal Armageddon, right?
Look at Madagascar. Just look at a satellite photo of what they've done to it.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a really good example of that, what you shared, Kate, was way back when I was young, actually, when I thought I wasn't awake and I thought I had to learn. But I actually read the contract for the RRSPs and saw that, my RRSPs were actually being invested into nuclear power and etc., weapons. And that was the only way I was going to be able to retire. And I literally, in that moment, stopped the program when I read it. And it was, of course, a couple of years after I'd been investing. I read the paperwork and I came across it, and I stopped. I cashed out, took the loss, and said, I'm done.
Yep, those keep their 10% tithe, don't they? Yeah, it's kind of funny. Well, no, it's just another version of church, right? They want their 10%. They want their left brain, and again, that's it too. People that are playing in that particular game, investments and whatnot, they're producing nothing, and they're welfare capitalists, right? Neither give anything to the system and is basically a parasite of it, and that's both ends of the spectrum: welfare and capitalism. So the ones that don't want to do anything or are in a state of victimhood, prolonged victimhood. There are some people that do need a hand up on occasion. I have no issue with that. It's when it becomes the handout that people get into the comfort zone of, oh, cool, free money every month, I'll take that. Screw everybody else, right? It's about the intent of it, right? And I have lots of experience dealing with people with that. So don't get on me tonight, guys, because I'll just rip that one a brand new hole. Promise.
It's quite amazing how it creates separation within the society as well.
Oh, totally.
You have a group of people that literally are under constant barrage by those who have enslaved themselves a different way. That's the only difference. They've enslaved themselves a different way, yet they will carry energies and hold animosity towards another being because of their path of that has basically, it's a place of surrender of it's not really surrender, it's literally giving up.
Well, slothfulness, it's one of the vices, right? And you know, go back to the days when, and again, I'm not, I'm just showing observations here of where we've been and where we are. You know, there was a time that any notion of a hand up, never mind a hand out, but a hand up was something that most people couldn't stomach. They couldn't be a part of it, you know. And now it's just typically accepted as, well, it's normal, you know. But again, I'm not going to get into these social debates because it's all system bullshit anyway, designed to enslave. And again, it's not about the money anyway. It's about your soul. If they can beat you up enough to get you dependent on their system, then your soul is toast anyway. Sorry, that's just it in plain English. Hate to share that, but there it is, you know.
Kate, what do you think about insurance? Like, as a pillar of the system?
Oh, got some noise there. One sec.
It's like, sorry, nothing moves in commerce without insurance. You know, I remember that Russian ship that was supposedly carrying spare parts for Syria or something like that, and they cancelled the insurance, and it was insured in London, and it was a Russian ship, and it just stopped dead in the water. It couldn't move because it had no insurance.
Yeah, they got their control systems all over the place, right? And it's amazing, right? No insurance, you have to stop. I guess, wow, that was just this magical brick wall that got put in front of the ship. Because somehow, because that piece of paper isn't in place, that ship is now going to sink, and we better not move it. Where the hell was it sitting when it was when the insurance came off it? You know, if you want to talk about insurance scams, let's talk about the Olympic and the Titanic. I mean, there's a prime allegory for modern society. Of course, April 12th, 1912. Right? So, big bait, the bait and switch. Right?
Yeah, that's why all of those, the coal work, the boiler workers, the coal shovelers, they wouldn't go on that ship. They all refused, and there was a coal strike at the time, and nobody could get any jobs. And they refused to get on the ship.
Yeah, they had to borrow coal from another ship in the White Star Line to make the Titanic sailing possible. These boys, well, it was the Olympic that was sailing had the Titanic. You see, Rose Band or the name, still an insurance scam. And that's all it was. And what did we have on board there? Most of the dignitaries of the elite that were against the Federal Reserve being set up. So it was just a massive hit. And at the same time, and look at the names of the ships, the Titans and the Olympians. Right? Bait and switch. Right? So the Titans sailed off, and the Olympus was sank in the illusion. So it's a perfect mirror. I was doing a little bit of reading on that today. I want to cover that in greater detail the next day or so. But isn't it funny? You know, you have the bait and switch going on there, and it's all about wealth control. Because even as the ship was sinking, it was still a matter of, you know, what price of ticket did you pay as to whether or not you get on one of the few lifeboats, right? Of course, they went women and children first, but they were picking and choosing from the first and second class before they got a steerage, you know? So there's another caste system deciding, and here we have a society or a planet, better yet, an entire planet that is like the Titanic, and everyone's just shuffling around the deck chairs while the ship goes down, instead of getting themselves in a position where they create their own lifeboat. I used to use this allegory all the time, years back when I was still negotiating in silver and gold stuff, looking at the economy and you know, when I thought it was actually real and stuff. But it's funny. It's the same fractal. It's that knowledge that I gained with that plays out perfectly in a spiritual fractal. So all things. You haven't made a mistake. No one's made a mistake. Not one. Have you learned from what you did in the contrast to apply it into a new moment of now? And if you have, well, then there, it all makes sense. But, I find it quite fascinating, the whole Olympic Titanic bait and switch. And, of course, the collision that the Olympic had was with a British warship, right?
Well, I mean, the allegories, warship.
Yeah, the allegories are rife. It was a British cruiser. Name eludes me, but it was. I know it was a British cruiser that was hit, or that
it had a ram, didn't it? An underwater ram on the front of it, made of metal, and it broke the back of the ship. Basically, it was a write-off completely. with a broken keel, a ship's never going to be right again.
Yeah, it couldn't be insured.
So what did they do? Yep.
Yeah, just do a quick repair job. And there's another proof for you. Regardless of who was at fault during that incident, the cops or the military are always going to be the ones that win. They don't get charged with anything because they're the ones that control the system, right? They're the go-to dogs, right? This is the illusion of power that cops have. And unfortunately, it's their masters. The cops are the ones that rule the courts, not the other way around. The courts are the gophers. They just wear the fancy uniforms and the fancy suits and the robes and what have you, while the real power is vested in things like police chiefs that seem to never be around and are off on vacation all the time. Apparently in Guelph, anyway. Funny that.
Yeah, I would just encourage people to look into the Titanic thing.
Oh yeah, it's a great story.
All the evidence is there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you want to sail on the Titanic, keep staying with the system because that's what we're dealing with, the RMS system, and it's done. It's absolutely done.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think I was. Go ahead, Darren.
Powerful. Just powerful. I can sit in silence in all of this.
I'm going to open up 404, see if we have a little less background noise. Yes, sounds like we do. 404, who we got?
Yeah, how you doing today?
There you are.
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Now let's say Hassan.
Yeah, this is Hassan here. The what I've been kind of experiencing, it's kind of, it's easy for me and it's interesting, but it's difficult to share it, I guess. But it's just like from listening to your show and the different people that have come into my life lately, I'm experiencing this strange sort of joy. And I think I'm having too much fun. I'm into that type of a thing. But the information that you've been putting out there on your show is just kind of, made me look at things a lot differently, right? And I have the wonderful experiences that go along with it.
Well, let's hear some of the wonderful experiences. Yeah, I'll definitely give you a different perspective to look at things, but then that's kind of what I do, I guess. And that's what we do here. We take a different look at things and put it all in the mirror to see what's really going on. So, Hassan, please share.
Yeah, the one of the recognitions and the remembrances, that's really, that's exciting in and of itself because most of my life I've been thinking, okay, I'm systemized, of course, and being wrapped up in this system, you're taught a bunch of different definitions of things, but then when you find out the real definition, which is like within you, then you're like, hey, man. He's like, wow, man, So I guess I'm learning slowly but surely, and I'm enjoying it. I'm one of those space cadets from the 70s, I guess.
Yeah, lots of spiritual curveballs, so it's. I guarantee you stand at the plate long enough and you see these spiritual curveballs coming at you. Eventually, you start to get the rhythm of it, and you can start knocking them out of the park. And that's effectively what so many people are doing. And the concepts are so very, very simple. It's just that leap of faith. Here we guys, and you got to go easy on yourself on this. People beat themselves up ferociously on this. Well, I'm in the system and I do my job of making it extreme so people can actually see it. Never mind start worrying about it. So go easy on yourselves. Just understand that we all came through it, and really it boils down to a personal leap of faith. And it's trusting in you, just trusting in the unknown. Because those of us that have awakened know that we stay on this course with the planetary Titanic. We go down with it. So we decide to have our own lifeboats. And we got to build our own lifeboat. That's basically what we're doing here. We build our own lifeboat, our own No-Oz Ark.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing that, and you're giving excellent tools. You're putting excellent tools out there for people to do that if they can hear it. I think maybe it may have come across my plate years ago, and maybe I just wasn't paying it any attention because I've always been, kind of looking for the right thing. And looking for proper direction and looking for, hey, am I doing the right thing? And all of it was based in some of these false definitions and things of that nature, And I'm right now, that stuff just never did work, and I ain't gonna be fooling around beating my head up against the wall trying to make something work when it don't.
Well, yeah, that's basically called insanity, I'm totally there with you. At the end of the day, and I'm glad you mentioned it in the way that you did, on my website there are lots of tools that people can use. And if you spend the time reading through the stuff, I don't care where you are in the system and where you are in your awakening, there is something there that you will be able to get your teeth into, get your hand on the first rung to start climbing. And the answer you're looking for is there. You will find it. But you've got to be the one to do it. The tools are there. If there's situations that you're dealing with, well, if you read through everything, you're gonna find it. And I got to tell you, it would probably take you maybe a day and a half to read through things. So if the answer isn't worth a day or a day and a half's worth of effort, like, who the hell can help you? Because you certainly don't want to help yourself.
That's right.
Yeah. It's like you were saying. It's so simple, yet it's like
terrifying.
Deep,
it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrifying, because you get that aha moment of, oh shit, and then you realize that how much and how deep we are all well, I can't say about me now, but embedded in this system, how deep and dark it goes. Everything in our existence has been literally enmeshed within the system, where people, just cannot fathom. I know I've been there. It's like, how the hell am I going to survive? At one point, I had some silver. I'm thinking, okay, well, economy crashes. This is worth a lot, so I'm okay, right? And then, of course, that all ran out, and of course, and then the whole base of operations, family, everything ripped out from under me. That's why I tell people, do it as an allegory, do it as an analogy for yourself. Just go, if you want to see how many threads and strings you have attached to you and how much system control is on you, just, like I say, go to your front door, go outside, close it, lock it, and just pretend to throw the key away. I'm not telling you people that you have to do this. Do, like, literally walk. But you have to be willing to say, can you do this? And if push came to shove, the answer is always going to be yes. Because I'll tell you, push and shove came to my door. I didn't have the option. So take a minute and literally walk through this action to physically experience it. And then you will start seeing all of the things that you are Pinocchio stringed to. The family, the house, the relationships, friends, everything.
Hassan, you know this space.
Yeah. Now, me being a writer, I guess I get really exhilarated when it comes to going through the experiences, and I'm kind of coming to the realization that, or I kind of understand that none of all this crap really matters so much, that, I was doing backflips and everything else for, it's just a waste of time, being a brick in the wall type thing. I'm look at my next door neighbors and they're backflipping too, and to just be able to peep and look outside the box and then have, I guess, the desire to, I'm going to go a little bit further. I'm going to try to step on outside the box. And if I trip and fall, so what? Just go on ahead and keep on stepping out, you see?
Absolutely. And that's all it takes, step by step. And I tell you, the fear comes when people just go overwhelmed on stuff. They start thinking of everything. So when I say go to the door, get overwhelmed for a second. Seriously, go and have a real serious look at how enmeshed you are or how unmeshed you are in the system. And at least now you've got something to look at. These are the things that, the fears that, they're not really, but anyway, the fears that you have to confront in order to step past that, the leap of faith, which from the leap becomes the next step. And the next step. And you're just putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
Day to day, I never know. For me, I would never know. And I'm okay.
Just got to remember to thank you for remembering you.
Yeah. I mean, we're all on a suicide mission.
Yeah.
Do you not think it's bizarre, though?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's bizarre that the system encourages you to get as much debt as you possibly can to get bigger and better shiny things so that you're keeping up with the Joneses. So you go one better than your friend or whatever. You get a better car, a bigger house, more shiny trinkets that you don't really need. You know what I mean? All accumulating more and more debt, because then when you do that, they know that they've got you. They can push your nose right down to that grindstone, and it doesn't matter what they do, how they treat you, you're going to go to work and earn that fictional paper to pay off the fictional debt because you want to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, we do it to ourselves. No question.
I did it.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, you're in good company.
Aren't we all, eh? We all did. So the only finger that can be pointed is the one that points itself. At which point, look at that, 3 fingers point out. So now, once you point the finger itself, you got something to bitch about, don't you? Yeah. You point the finger at you, and then there's, look at that, 3 targets I can pick. You get your options back. That's comes with that new improved spiritual model.
Yeah, that fear thing, I've been seeing over the years how that's been playing. I've been talking a lot about it. Say, hey, man, everybody's living in fear. And, you turn on the news or whatever you turn on. It doesn't matter if it's something that you turn on, because everything's a screen nowadays. Even my telephone is a screen. So everywhere you look, people are pushing fear. The news media is, they're a big part of it. But, all the media is a big part of that whole thing. And I, just breaking loose and say, I'm going to do this thing, or whatever I'm going to do it fearlessly. It doesn't matter anyway. I've probably already done it before and it didn't kill me. So this time I'm going to look at it like this and go at this thing. You see what I'm saying? You get that, or for me anyway, I get that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like, look at the adverts, right? Posters and whatnot.
All
ridiculously attractive people, right? Saying to you, we know your life's in the toilet. When you're a complete loser, but if you buy this watch, if you use this aftershave, you'll be a little bit less of a loser, and you'll be a little bit more like this model.
Yeah,
it's just a fucking joke.
Watch the movie Branded, and you'll see what society is all about. And I tell you, that's going to be a tough mirror for some people to look in, because I know I was part of that mirror. So I can look at that and see me, the old me in it. And now that, and it's a great way you put that, Mystified. Yeah, you can be a less loser if you use our product, and that's
exactly.
How do you think society is shaped? It's shaped with the media, and this is one of the things that I'm noticing lately. Look at the things that are coming out, and it's getting more and more blatant, like right in people's faces. I don't know. You'd have to be a complete imbecile to miss the stuff that's coming out, and unfortunately most people apparently are. They're missing a lot of it. But I'll tell you, there's a rude awakening coming for people. So here's the difference between someone that takes a leap of faith and someone that's too afraid to even go near the edge. You're going to get shoved off the edge anyway. Those of us that took the leap of faith figured it out real quick. We jump off that cliff, and when you get to the bottom, you just land in a bed of daisies, basically, and all that fear dissipates. But those that haven't walked this path at all, or have been really duped and right in the system, that's going to be a rude awakening for them. And if that's what they want to experience, that's cool. I'm good. I don't. I'm kind of happy that I did what I did, kind of. I am absolutely ecstatic, because if I hadn't have, a lot of the stuff that's been uncovered never would have been. And so I said last night, had I known what I was previously, ahead of time, if I had known what I was going to have to go through to be where I am right now, the chances of me doing those things would have been pretty much zero. It's like, no, I don't want to be down and out, and I want my toys, and all the rest of it. So, and this is the joy of the universe, and that's the mystery of the universe. It's best that we don't know these things so that we can push our way through, and at the end of it, we say, oh, look, I did it, and I made it. How cool is that? And that really is the difference to me. I don't need to worry about the new perfume.
We need this handbag. Look at this handbag.
I know, eh? It's like, oh, don't worry. I've been in chat rooms and stuff with other two spirits, and that's the focus of their universe. And it's like, oh my god. It's like, okay, it's a nice purse. It's functional, right? It's just a big pocket, okay? Handy as hell, though. I love it.
It's a vortex.
It's a vortex, is right. But boy, I tell you, I feel like Hermione.
It's in my purse. It's just in my purse. 3 hours later, honey, I can't find it.
I got to tell you though, my handbag is it's an awful lot like Hermione's. Whatever I need, I seem to have it in there. It's pretty cool. So, oh, cool.
It is a vortex. Yeah. I told you.
It is. Pull out magical stuff.
Holy! How'd you put all that in there?
The TARDIS.
Yeah, it is the TARDIS. Trapped in time.
There'll be a TARDIS handbag coming out next. Way to go, Mystified.
There you go. It looks like we have Brandon in the call, too. So, Brandon, what's on your mind tonight? Jump in the fray here.
I'm in the rain right now. I'll get back to you in a minute. I'm just listening.
Okay, thank you, Brandon. All right, just jump in when you're ready. Good. Rain, truth, love it. Yeah, we actually got a bit more snow yesterday, believe that or not, overnight. It's like friggin' cold. Again, but that's okay. More cold, hard truth coming down on this beautiful spring forward. No blood moons tonight, thank you. So if anybody else can have the concept of flipping that Phoenician over into the blued, right, feel free. I don't know about you, but doesn't make an sound, really. Come on over here and eat. Your FUD is on the table. And don't forget, the rain's coming down, so there's going to be a flood soon.
Feek, yeah.
It's like, honestly, how many questions did you guys have as kids when you saw words like daughter and laughter and attention and all the rest? What? It says, when does TION make an SHUN sound, Teach? Oh, shut up, and that's just the sound it makes. Okay. I want my little gold star, so I'll be a good student. Yes. A stewed ent. Yeah, a stewed mind, indeed. Yeah, what are you stewing it in? big bags of shit. And honestly, speaking of which, I got to say this too. For those that want a little bit of an uplift in terms of system, look what Mike's been doing. He's now working for a school and teaching kindergarten truth. And this system is paying him to do it. Talk about a double-edged sword. Here, that's like, well, the rule in China, right? You get a family member is going to get executed, the family has to buy the bullet, right? So there's the system buying its own bullet. I think that's hilarious. And that's what I mean about changing one's intent. If one's intent is to survive, fine. If one has to be in the system to do that, fine. Just change your intent as to what you're doing with it. If the intent shifts into destroying the system, have a good time at it. Have some fun. In Mike's case, he's got it perfect. He's got a bunch of beautiful young minds that are not going to get corrupted into literalism right out of the gate. These kids are going to be a handful for the next teachers that come along. Hey, what do you mean, Teach? No, that's bullshit. Grade 1, we're going to be saying bullshit. Watch.
Yeah, I had to work with my ego after I heard that. I was like totally jealous. I was like, oh man, I want to do that.
Yeah, me too. Kids. I love talking with kids.
Oh man,
and they're sponges.
And truth,
pure.
Their innocence is so truthful. I did every step of the way. I tried to answer every why I got.
Absolutely.
I mean, when I go to a farmer's market and I stand and hold space somewhere, children will see me. They'll see me in how I hold my hands, and they'll put their hands like that. And they'll look at me like, that's right, isn't that right? And I'm just like, that's right. You hold that cup, and it'll just pour out of you without saying the words. It's happened several times. It's just, children.
Yeah, in the mouths of babes. I just had a thought, considering I just had another spammer try to Facebook contact me. I got a whole bunch of, it has to be the same individual in, you know how you get junk messages in Facebook? You got your ones and you got your junk ones. Well, I've got, because I keep just deleting them. Well, I can't really delete them. I just have to mark them as read. I haven't bothered that. But anyway, I got 16 of them here. So what I'm thinking of doing is going down each of them and writing a complete sentence. Because it's got to all be the same individual, right? You, next one, R, next one, A, next one, sell, next one, out, next one, peace, next one, of, next one, shit.
Oh, that'd be a hell of a spell.
Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's like too funny.
That'd be considered a broadband spell, wouldn't it? Or a broadband dispelling.
Yeah, I think so.
Those emails you get where it's like, I'm from the Bank of Burkina Faso, or I'm used to work in Gaddafi's regime, and I've got £7.5 million, and I just need a bank account number to transfer this money to, and I want a share of it. Blah blah blah. There's a website dedicated to stuff like that, where they tell them that they're going to come and see them, and then they get them to book hotels and stuff like that, and then they're waiting for them at the airport, and they've made reservations for them, and they're emailing back everything and forth, and you can have a look. It's pretty funny, just giving them the run around for a change.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, that's what we got to do. Turn the tables on these idiots, So, do you see a level of games that people are stuck in? Look at how low in energy that is. You can do anything but laugh. You really can't. It's like and you've heard Irvin Shill show up on this show. How much fun that is. And they don't typically last any longer than a few seconds after I start into them. In a beautiful, truthful way, just letting them know that their soul has been sold if they have one, and just go on from there. And that's exactly what these individuals are doing. It's quite funny, but it all tells me that, thank you, that's my, what do they call that, fair weather gauge, to let me know that I'm getting under your skin. So I flip it over. Because I'll tell you, if I wasn't being annoying to the system wouldn't have things like this coming at me. So it's like, keep it coming. I want an annoying bitch because I don't have a problem. Wait a sec. How hard is it to click my mouse? Oh, it's very hard at all.
Keep proving the truth.
Well, that's it. I got to tell you, hitting mark as spam is a whole lot faster than setting up a Facebook account. Click. That one's gone. Click. No, that one's gone. How much time did you spend? 15, 20 minutes setting up I'm sure they have templates and whatever. So I got to say, some of the names are pretty original. But, you're going to run out of names eventually here. Honestly. They're all like these crazy, crazy-ass names. Muffy Loby? Johnson Friday? Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah.
A struggling Hollywood writer.
I think so. Put your efforts into writing a book, Better yet, put some effort into reading some essays on my website, kateofgaia.wordpress.com. That'll certainly help you out a lot more than whatever it is you're selling your souls for. So there's a prime example of what not to do with the system. Right? So Mike's got the one side, and these idiots, or this idiot, whatever the case may be, has the other. Right? So who do you think is going to have a bigger impact on the world? Who do you think is going to change their world for the better? Right? So again, don't be too hard on yourselves, guys. That's my job. I'm just here to remind people on occasion. And remember, we get lots of new people in all the time, so don't take it so personal. I'm sorry, truth hurts, truth's a bitch, and so am I. And I'll tell you, the things that I share with regards to doing, they're only things that I've already done and walked through, and hey, cool. I was right. They do disappear. Oh, cool, they do run away. Oh, cool, I do have an invisible shield. Oh, neat, there are helpers that show up. How awesome is that? This shit's real, guys. It's so real. All you gotta do is step. Decide that you are once and for all God. Just do that. You'll be okay.
They can't hang you.
No. They can't touch the living. That's the joke. And everyone's so afraid of, well, what about this bill and what about that? I said, well, like I said, the tools are on my website. Start educating these monkeys. Right? If you're not sure what to do about a ticket or something, then pay the fucking thing. Okay? Why worry about the stress? You got a $10 or $20 or $30 ticket that you're not ready to handle, then don't. Just pay the damn thing, suck it up, because it's part of the contract of the system. You agreed to Caesar's rules, so pay Caesar Caesar's dues and stop bitching about it. The other side of that coin too is when if you don't want to pick a fight with it, because that's what you'll be doing if you challenge it. You'll not be ready for that spiritually yet. But what you can do in the process is when you send that check or whatever in, because you still have a system bank account or whatever, send along a bunch of documents. Did you know you're a criminal? Start emailing your city halls. Start emailing your local counselors. Start, dropping these things in their mailboxes, physical and electronic. Because what you're doing is planting the seeds of truth, that whether they read them or not. See, this is how many times have I said this? I don't give a shit if anything I send is read or not. It's already contract. Right? Anything deemed sent is already contract. It says so in their own rules. I think it's back to 1890 something. I still got to find that reference, because that was a big one for me. Anything deemed sent is already deemed contract, and the free man on the land type, well, no, it's not, because I haven't. Did you have a mailbox? Well, yeah. Does that mailbox accept any mail from anywhere, from anyone? Well, yeah. Sounds like a fucking contract to me. It's an open-ended, right? They're just taking it in your mailbox, right? So that the female box, you are going to create the energy to send it back. That's what mailboxes are. They're open-ended contracts. Here, I'll take anything. Have you ever put a notice on your mail, no junk mail? On your mailbox, no junk mail? Did it stop happening? Well, yeah, typically sometimes it does. You say no solicitors or no unsolicited mail? That's a that's a good one, because you see, in order to get solicited mail, it has to come through the mail, which is just perfect. So just if you want to write no unsolicited mail on your mailbox, I mean, record companies do it, and I know why. They want a lawyer go between you and them, so that they can fleece you even better. I was in the music industry, remember? Anyway, so these are all the simple clues. If you got a mailbox or an email address, whatever, if you've got something open-ended, this is why I laugh at the Facebook thing here, right? Because anyone that's trying to send me these contacts, they don't understand the contract they're going into, because I'm fully aware of both ends of the contract, right? So what they're doing is they're walking into my spider web. Oh yeah, I'll take that contract. Come on in, because I know that you don't know who you are. You're still a dead entity, and as a representative of the living, who carries the power here? The one standing on the grave or the one buried in it? I got my shovel. This is the power of knowing who you are, guys. This is where you start standing in your own truth, standing in your own reality. And it is powerful, powerful magic. It really is. How many more? Well, we're going to have lots more stories, I hope, from people, because we do get them. I think we got Tracy coming in here. Lots more stories, success stories, if you want to call them that. I just call them reality checks. Where people, when they know who they are, magical stuff starts happening around them.
Yeah, you'll even get asked to be a shaman. Someone will want to teach you to be a shaman.
That would be fun. I'd like to do that.
Well, my answer was, why be a shaman when there's so much more?
Well, yeah, there is. And in fact, that's what we all are anyway.
Yeah.
Those that are sharing the truth are basically showing the way, the showman, if you will.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Tracy, how are you?
Hello, lovey.
Great. Hello. I just wanted to say that loving the show. I just want to put my female energy on the table. I don't have to speak. I'm really enjoying the show. I have lots I can say from a female perspective, but I think everything is awesome, and I just wanted to put the female energy on the table. I know there's other ladies listening, but maybe they didn't put their hand up. That was all.
Right on. There might even be one hosting. Who knows?
Okay.
I was just thinking that.
Uh-huh. I know.
Yeah.
It's the voice. The voice messes it up all the time. It sucks. But anyway, it's all good.
I always thought you as a lady. Yes.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I did have a female perspective on the moon, if you're interested.
What's that?
I had my own experience with the blue moon last night.
Oh, very
If you
cool.
were interested in listening, I can
Sure.
do it real quick.
Please.
I watched the whole thing. I was amazed. And as it was happening, I'm like, wow, it's menstrual blood red. It was great because it was a full moon, all the moon, quarter, new moon, all in about, couple hours. And I watched the whole thing, and I was like, wow, that's exactly each month as a female, for me, that's exactly what you go through. And females, or at least I do, go through this to where, like, once I bleed, the menstrual blood red, I'm like, wow, I'm free. I'm an individual. I have so many thoughts, and I have all this energy, and I have so much potential. And then as the lining builds, you start growing your womb again, and then you're like, well, then you start getting obligations and the responsibilities. It's exactly like a metaphor for the system. And then you get burdened by it, and then it hurts your joints and your muscles, and you can't move, and you're cranky, and retaining water the whole world. And then you release it, and you let everything go again. It's a monthly cycle that is life every month. And I thought it was great. And this morning I bled. I was so freaking happy because I took that, and I know what they're doing with this, or what they say they're doing, however you want to word it. I give them no power, but I know what they're doing with this blood moon on a Jewish holiday. I said, no, you know what? I'm going to take that blood moon that is in me, and I'm going to sleep on it, and I am it. I'm it. They're not me. They can't control me. I know what it is. I've done this since I was 13. I know exactly what it is. And I grew up so free. And then I went and dealt with police twice this week, and everything worked out. And I was, would have appeared wrong. My Christian sister told me so, and it's worked out so far. So mind boggles the system. It was a beautiful metaphor. You can't stop life, and life builds and crevices and then destructs, and it starts over and over.
Exactly. Hassan, I'm going to have to mute your mic a bit. You got some noise background. No problem. If you can mute on your end, that would be great. So it was just getting a bit noisy there. So I'm doing my best to keep this as noise-free as possible. Anyway, we got Paul jumping in with us as well here.
That was a really great sharing, Tracy.
What's happening, What's happening, Don?
Well, I tell you, loved the pictures you sent. Interesting little squiggles, eh?
Yeah, Kate, they're crazy, aren't they? The crazy stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking at a bit of that, like just you talking about the Enochian keys. I thought I'll have to take a wee look and see if I can find any sigils or runes on this.
I wish I could find my box of runes.
Yeah, there's so many, Kate. There's so many when you start to look at them. You see them in, the English alphabet, Especially when you look at old English alphabet. It's like, it's just kind of strange.
The TV series Supernatural has Enochian magic in it. There's loads of symbols and blood magic and stuff like that, where they slash their hands and smack the wall with these things.
Yeah. Where is it you're from?
Me, just 7 miles from Newcastle.
Gododin country. Yeah, Gododin country. The land of the Gododin.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, if you know your history, mate, you'll know what the Gododin were like. Yeah,
well, when you live in a place that's Scotch Corner is 30 miles south of you, you know where you're living.
Exactly. You know what I means, mate.
Yeah.
Quality.
Sorry, kid. That was just a...
That's okay. I love when regionals get going at it.
Awesome. Sorry, kid, guys. Just getting a chat.
Good. Yeah, where do you guys want to go? I mean, we got... what do we got?
I'd like to touch base on what Tracy shared.
Absolutely. Very important information.
Very. For our sisters. The moon, the blood moon, funny that they use those terms, but in the originals world, they have what is called a moon lodge in the olden days, back in the day when they had their tradition. And when a woman would reach her moon period time, she would go to the lodge. They had a lodge set up to get the women who were on their moon out of the community. Not due to ill effect or anything bad, but for the simple truth that their waters were cleansing. The woman's monthly cleanse is exactly that. Universe cleansed them from the inside out. The sisters who accept this truth change their periods. I've witnessed it just by sharing it. It is a gift. This is a period of time when the woman is at her highest of energies. A lot of people I've witnessed who come to the ceremony and are on their moon, they always feel outcasted for the first couple of days because they're asked to leave the circle. It's sensed. this energy is sense. It's not anyone looking or lifting skirts. The wisdom keepers, the ones who love, they do it gently and ask people to leave the circle because of their energy. Their energy takes away from the ceremony, not in a negative way, but more of a sense of overpowering way. And so these lodges are very powerful. They give it a wide berth. And this is a place where I see in the future for our sisters. Because it is a great time. A great time of purging. And that's what this moon, if they want to call it a blood moon, I'll say, yeah, I'll kidnap that little idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Hijack.
May it be a great cleansing.
That's beautiful. That's exactly what it is.
We do it together, guys. We do it hand in hand.
Yeah. Yeah. The ones who know these rules, they will touch a woman who's in that period of time. Because the energy is really, really high.
Well, you know what else happens is the woman absorbs. I know I am an empath, and I absorb all around me. I'm very observant, and I care, and I take that all in me. So it's a process that if I'm allowed to purge, I don't recommend anybody coming near me during that time, but it cleanses and purges everyone around me because I took it in. That's the birth, the collecting of emotion and psychic energies and care and traumas and joys and all of that. And I take it in, and it builds up, and then it's time to release it to start anew. That's exactly what it is.
Exactly. So the more that embrace this truth, may they change their languages in that time, and their pains will subside, and they won't be tainting their water as it comes in fresh. And that simple step.
That was the other side of it, maybe we can touch on too, in the fact that blood is both spirit and physical. It is the unification of the oil and water. You want to call it the caduceus that we all have within us, the oil and water that will never touch but always intermingles, and of course the water that is contained within the blood. Maybe you guys can touch on the significance of that. Thoughts on it? I mean, it's again wide open here.
I've got an airplane, so.
Oh, okay. You know, the relevance of that as well. You know, what else is getting purged and what else is getting created at the same time, given that we are all, like I said, I would say more than 80% water personally. But I'm going to really sit and ponder that in terms of a fractal, because I liked what you were saying with regards to the blood moon and talk about timing, huh, Trace? You didn't nail that one too good, did you? Right on the money.
Yeah, right on the money. And that's the intent.
Right on the moon eye. Love it.
And it all happened in one phase. I mean, usually you have to go through 1 month to watch the phases of the moon or experience them. So every 1 month happened in a couple of hours, and I just watched it and felt it, and I really loved it. But I've been experiencing this every month. It was a symbol of metaphoric for me. I can't say everybody viewed it this way. But it was like, okay, so time means nothing. Everything, I am the clock inside me, and I know what each phase is, and I just went through it in a couple of hours. And so I was, our ego, who, if you tell your ego to shut the fuck up and just pay attention, it can analyze it. And so I was able to understand both sides. It was like both sides of my mind came together and understood each other in harmony, because it happened so fast that the left mind was like curious and trying to figure it out, and the right mind's going, well, it's like this. And And I just loved it. I thought it was one of the most beautiful things. I was so glad that I could witness it and experience that. And it was two minds, if you want to word it that way. I don't like wording it that way, or two selves coming together in a perfect allegory, like you say, Kate. It was great. It was great for me. So and then I went to sleep saying, yeah, and I went to share that with in my dream world through the feeling system, my understanding of that. And so when I slept, I said, look how great it is. And then I bled the next morning. I'm like, yeah.
Well, here's another little tidbit that Bhindi just passed along to me here as well. The blood moon, or better yet, this red moon, is caused by the proximity of Mars, or Aries, god of war, Roman god of war. Notice how they took the ram and made it into Aries? Anyway, it's caused by the proximity of Mars at the moment. It's a full 2 days in a row, which is not mentioned on mainstream media at all. Look away, and shifts in color from blue to red. Isn't that interesting?
I watched Mars, too, during this time. And you know what's ironic is I have Venus in Aries that is right now conjunct Uranus. And at tonight's full moon, I have an exact opposition to my Venus. So for me, it was all perfect. Of course, the color is red for me. My Venus is in Aries, the goddess of truth and queen of diamonds. And so it just meant a lot to me. It was very allegorical that you like. I don't know how to word it, nor I guess do I need to. I guess nobody really needs to understand it, but it was perfect. And the warrior goddess, the real good one, is here. That's all I was want to say.
Isn't there an eclipse coming as well? I'm sure there's an eclipse coming as well.
Yes, solar eclipse.
There's a solar. I think it's today. It's today. I think it's 5 to 6. 5 to 6 Greenwich Mean Time.
I did hear that. Kate, can you translate that to either Eastern Time, or do you have any idea since you're bicoastal?
Well,
since you're bilateral.
Eastern Time, that'd be noon to 1 p.m. Are you talking in the morning, Paul?
Yeah, morning here, yeah.
Oh, so it'd be 1 a.m., midnight to 1 a.m. our time.
So I'm on 2 hours because I'm in Colorado time. So does that happen at night? Would I be able to see it if it's a solar eclipse? Ooh, my gosh. Well, I guess Tracy has a date tonight.
All right.
I'll join you.
There's actually meant to be 4 or 6 this year coming. I think with the 28th there's an eclipse of the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 eclipses of the moon this year. Well, this year going into next, and a couple of solar eclipses.
Who's my brother who's talking right now? Is it Scottish? My Scottish brother?
Yeah.
Yes, Paul.
Yeah. Hi, Paul. I'm sorry. I haven't had internet in a couple of days, so I haven't been able to keep up on conversations. Are you on Kate's? Kate, I'm having an echo. Is that me?
I have no idea who has speakers on, so it could be a phone. I have no idea. Yep.
It could be me too. Okay.
seems
Paul, are you on Kate's Facebook?
Yes,
I am on Kate's Facebook, aye.
Could you post that information? Because I haven't been able to research. I just now got back on, and I'm really interested in that so that I can experience and follow. Would you mind posting that for me?
What's that, the full moon?
Yeah, these eclipses and the dates and...
Yeah, I'll try and dig it out for you. Yeah, I'll try and dig it out and find out when the dates and that are, yeah. Shouldn't be a problem.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Wasn't Aleister Crowley into that Enochian magic and stuff like that as well?
Well, it's just magic, mate. You can look at it both ways. There's 2 pillars. Masons show you this. 2 pillars, Yakim and Boaz. One's black, one's white. You keep to the centre pillar. This is Kabbalah. They teach you this. Keep to the centre pillar. And that's another reference to the Kabbalistic tree. It's just all magic, but it depends on who you are. Aleister Crowley knew he was a dark person, so he practiced dark magic. Do you know what I'm saying? He embraced his dark side. That's how he said, do as thy will is the law. because you're not going to get judged for stuff, but it's your, if you know what I mean. You don't get judged for God, you get judged for Sephira, as they would say, the hierarchy angels or whatnot. Do you know what I mean? Because they'll say you're a dirty droplet of water, so you have to come back down here and cleanse your waters, like you were speaking about tonight. Cleanse your waters. You're a dirty droplet of water. That's what they say. Do you know what I mean? But through magic,
fascinating.
Well, through magic and stuff, you can cleanse yourself, but you can do other things. But those who want to partake in the dark side, well, prepare to, when you die. They say, just like with the Gnostic stuff, you know, if you go trying to do any stuff with that, when you die, like Savan says, shells. Well, what happens is these archonic entities or energies will feed off of you till you die, and then when you die, they basically eat you. That's it. You're gone. That's it. These demons have got your light, your water. So that's it. You're away. So that's how you need to watch. We said it because what OTO. Go look at Hermetic stuff. OTO. That's a bit what Santa Spinacci was talking a wee bit about when he was telling you about, like say Plefio, like say Giovanni de Pico de Mirandola. What's his name? Zoroaster and that. Well, that's like Egyptian magic, but there's Jewish magic where the Egyptian. You need to realise the allegory with the Egypt and Israel was that Egypt stole their magic, held them in bondage using their magic. It wasn't that they were held physically in bondage; they were held in bondage with their magic. You need to realise the Bible's it's all allegories. All allegories.
You're talking a bit fast for everybody else, fella. I can understand you, but I'm sure the Americans and Canadians will not be able to understand you. You need to slow it just a fraction down.
Right, well, as I was saying, right.
I can understand you perfect, but I'm just thinking about them.
I can too.
Gail Babley, because you don't get, it's a Northern Irish accent. It's Northern Irish and Scottish.
Pretty close.
The 6 counties. I think it's 6 counties of Belfast. 6 counties, Kate.
Northern Ireland, yeah.
Yeah, something like that, 5 or 6. But meant to be back in the day they were given to Scotland. So Scotland, if you want to look at it legally, technically kind of owns Northern Ireland if you want. So when we become an independent country, do they become an independent country? Do you know what I mean? That's if this happens, because if people don't know, Scotland's got some meat sticky stuff going down, like.
Yeah, but what happened to the pig?
What was I talking about? Yeah, I was on a download, as you say.
Jewish magic and Egyptian.
Hermetic magic. Explaining the difference. Try to explain the difference, right?
Sorry, fella. It's just that I didn't want there's a lot of people out there. I can understand you, no problem. But the only ones up in Scotland that I can understand is like hardcore Glaswegians. But like most people out there wouldn't be able to hear what you were saying. That's all.
Yeah. We're in the middle between the West Coast and the East Coast, so this isn't a Glasgow accent, and it's not like an Edinburgh accent. It's like a farmer accent.
Anyway, continue, please, because it was fascinating.
But as I was saying, right, the difference between the Jewish magic and that is, when they talk about the Bible, like the creation story, like it's all allegories. It's all allegories for us falling out the tree. Like people will talk about. You've maybe heard of Adam Kadmon. Adam Cadman's like, you could say he would be daft. Do you know what I mean? He was daft, but you see, he fell out the tree, like he was kicked out the tree, and all of this. But actually, when you read the Jewish stuff, he came down out the tree. Do you know what I mean? To see what was happening down here, and got caught in a world basically in Ma, like what we are in as Ma. Do you know? And stuff like that. That was basically the allegory. Adam Cadman falling. He never fell. He came down. Do you know what I mean? But this whole allegory, Adam and Eve, when you get into that with the Gnostic side, is kind of meat sticky. I don't really want to speak about that just now because it is kind of deep. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people will not understand a lot of the Gnostic interpretations of creation because it goes against actually the supreme being, if you want to call him, what anybody would say would be a god, didn't create this earth in a Gnostic interpretation. So I'm really want to go down that road. I'll stick to what I was speaking about with the magic. Right, you've got the Hermetic magic. Right, that came from Egypt, Zoroaster, Thoth. that kind of stuff, do you know? And when you go look at OTO, like say Golden Dawn stuff, they're practicing a hermetic magic, but it's kind of Egyptian, but it's actually Kabbalah. But it's Kabbalah basically, as I'm saying, see with the sigils and stuff, but they're using a different sigil, but it's all the same meaning and references behind it. So people think, oh, this will be Christine. Because if people have looked this up, you'll see it can be spelt with a K, a C, or a Q. Because there's a lot to this. And I've only been looking at this for a year and a half. I found out a hell of a lot of stuff. But I ain't nowhere near, like, totally clued up on this completely. But what I do know, I'll stand in it and say, basically, here, this is what I know, and this seems kind of real. So as I'm saying, the Jews, or the Jewish Kabbalists say their kind of magic or what you would say, Abraham's magic fell into Egypt. Do you know what I mean? And for 6,000 years, what they speak about in creation is actually an allegory. When you actually read, like say the book like the Zohar, it's actually an allegory for Malkuth and correction. Because we're gods basically, but we've came out of the tree and we've ate for the fruit. So we're no longer gods. We need to realise that we are gods and get ourselves back up into the tree again. Basically, that's my interpretation of looking at things. Do you know? That we are basically supreme beings and we've came down and ate for the tree basically. I don't know, I'm not quite literally sure what that means yet. I'm still, as I'm saying, there's a hell of a lot to this, especially when you're trying to research Jewish, Hermetic, and a whole lot of other funny orders, because I'm looking at orders, Masonic orders, whatever you want to call them, because there's loads of orders out there. People say the Illuminati, that's the Martinist order. Go and look them up. People say, oh, the Illuminati, it was started by a guy called Saint Martin. People have never heard of the Martinist order, but yet, when you look at some of their stuff, look at your gang culture in America, I'm guaranteed when you look at some of that, when I've seen some of the stuff, they've got, like, say, the red and the blue, like, the gang hats, laid out like Starry Davids. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of funny stuff you'll see if you start to look at the Martinist order. Will probably know like me hearing them, because they are quite a secretive order. But nobody really knows too much about the Martinists. You know what I mean? Because they keep secretive. But they're all studying. It's all Kabbalah. It's all Jewish Hermetic magic. No matter what angle you want to look at it. The runes, Hermetic magic. When you start to look at Golden Dawn, they're using a mixture of like. They use kind of Isis, and it's like a what could you say? It's a bit flamboyant, if you know what I mean. They're all wearing fancy Egyptian gowns and all of this carry on and giving it Yahoo. Do you know, when you start to look at the real stuff, what the real Jewish scholars are doing, it's all in meditative states. Do you know what I mean? None of this is actually done in the physical. It's like the woman was speaking about. There was a famous rabbi who actually says he walked with the gods and was walking about in Israel crazy, or somewhere really crazy, and he says the only way they could have got him out of heaven was they touched him with basically a period rag, and it brought him straight back down to earth, because this is all in meditative states. Do you know? But when you start to looking at the magic side, you can do incantations, but you have to know about the tetragrammaton, the pentagrammaton, the angels, because you need Michael to come in and ceremonies. If Michael's not there with you, basically, and you can go and look at even Goetia magic, a black magic. You need to have Michael there with you when you're conjuring demons or on the Goetia. Because when you look at the lesser keys of Solomon, this is Solomonic magic, and I'll tell people straight, Solomon was a scumbag. And in Islam he's considered a king, in Judaism he's considered this and that, and Solomon was given some real great stuff and basically gave it all away. Do you know what I mean? He was given a gift for gods because what he could do, and gave it all because he wanted to basically be a bit of a sex pest and do his thing. Do you know? And then you look at his father, and I've studied a hell of a lot of meat sticky theology, because it's always annoyed me that people are fighting over religion, and it's like, why? And then I started to look into it, and then see they shouldn't be, because it's all magic. Do you know what I'm saying? All magic.
You know something, Paul? And you know, we talk about the magic that we can bring back into our own lives. And I know the amount of doubt and disbelief that the vast majority of people would have on this. What the hell do you think the elites are using to keep this system in control?
Oh, it's magic, Kate.
They believe in magic.
Yeah,
that's right.
But what they're doing is, Kate, like you know, like the 15th, it's a full moon. Well, I found this out looking at my birthday, which is the 15th of July, you know. And I'm looking at this, and then I found out all these Bohemian Grovers go partying and they do funny things on my birthday, you know. And I looked into that, Kate. And there's a lot of stuff to do with that, you know, to do with Tammuz, to do with the Jewish calendar, Tammuz.
Well, and in the Tibetan lunar calendar, that's what they go with. The 15th is the height of the divine feminine. So there you go. I'm June 15th. You're July 15th. You've got the funky Illuminati thing going on, and I have the anniversary of the Magna Carta, which somebody tried to spew some nonsense on my Facebook the other day that they were free because of section such and such of the Magna Carta.
Article 61. Let me guess.
Yeah, I think it was.
If you want to get me sticky with that, shit on history, like.
It's like, oh, wait a minute. Wasn't that the barons and the lords that were cutting a deal with the king? That's right. So they were still in a slave position. So anyway, you know, just...
Who wrote it, you know?
You already handed England over
to... Masonic fraternity in Britain. Right, this is wait till you hear this. This is so funny. And I think it was 1560. The Pope declared that if anybody killed the Queen of England, it would have been Elizabeth I. If anybody killed her, they would be basically, you would be blessed, you'd be sainted, you know. And yet the head, and this guy was the head of he was. Wait a minute, I don't think that right. It was the Knights Preceptor, right? The Knights Preceptor of Jerusalem, of Rhodes and Malta. Right, it was the Grand Master, basically. He was the Grand Master of that, right? He was the Grand Master, Jerusalem, Rhodes, and Malta. It was the Knights Preceptor of Porphyrion, where I live, and he was also the feudal Baron of Calder. Well, basically, he was what you could probably say the big Kahani. He was the chief, the colonel-in-chief of the Vatican's army, and yet he's staying in Scotland quite happily. Do you know what I mean?
Kate, about 2 months ago, right, there was a fella from London on Paul Giovanni's show, and you've got to get him and that fella there together.
Oh yeah, for
Trust me, the two of them together, that would be amazing.
Well, I'd like to wonder a wee bit about this man. His name was James Sanderlands, and James Sanderlands. If people want to look into this, if you want to look at orders. Because all these orders, Masonic orders, basically took over the world, basically in 1694. Everybody want to look this up? 1694, Royal Charters, Bank of England, William Patterson. His name, I've got it right here. His name is William Patterson. And July 27th, July 27th, 1694, loaned the bank here, loaned the government of England. Well, you know what I'm saying? Whatever this fraud is, what they call a parliament. He loaned it actually 1,200,000. Right, that would have been sterling, and that would have been in July 27th. He loaned them 1.25 million sterling, whatever that would have been, gold, silver coins or gold or whatever. And basically, all of that was basically for. Wait a minute, I'll read this here. And that would be in return. This is right. This is written. This is in a history book. In return, the subscriber would be incorporated as governor and company of the Bank of England, right? Of the Bank of England. So Bank of England took over your government in 1694, right? But the debt never ever got paid. So what happened was, and this is basic history, people. The bank, the debt never ever got paid, so the bank kind of got pissed off because the bank was basically founded to act. Anybody can look this up, to act as bankers and debt managers to the government, right? That's how the Bank of England was founded, just to act as bank managers and debt managers for the government. And basically, in 1781, because they never paid back their debt, the Chancellor, the Exchequer, was brought in. So every country in the world who has a Chancellor, do you know what I mean? You know what a Chancellor is, Kate? You could explain this for the Canadians and the Americans. But every country who has a Chancellor means your bank owns your government. That's it. Clear and simple. That's it. The history tells you. This is basic history. Just go and do your research. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, that's exactly right.
It's not rocket science. Actually, a friend of mine, Zoe, she was hot on the trail. She did a lot of really important work about a year and a half ago, because that was her trail, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and tracing back a whole bunch of information that I was able to put a bunch of things together with her research and my own, and others, of course. But this is where a lot of the stuff got laid bare as to how control was handed from the living crown to the dead crown. Because on that day in 1694 was when the living crown, as represented by King William III, was handed over to the dead corporation, or the crown corpse, into the dead crown. And this is where we go back to the City of London, the Lord Mayor. Of course, you have the sole proprietor, which, what was the guy's name? Paul something or other. He should be stepping down, or has already stepped down. Sorry, keep on going. No, I was going to say, because it was kind of funny showing the cause and effect, because as soon as we uncovered things, people, like within a couple of days of me bringing the whole sole proprietorship thing up and claiming the office, the guy stepped down within the week. You know, announced he was going to be stepping down. Right. So, claiming the sole proprietorship.
That's for those, these are the people you need to point out. It's people like the Chancellor of the Exchequer. Everybody knows he works. He's got a place in the government, but yet he works for a separate body. He doesn't work for the government. He works for the Bank of England.
No, the government.
Plain and simple. He works for whatever bank runs your country. And right now in America, probably it would be Goldman Sachs. So whoever runs Goldman Sachs runs your country. That is it. Plain and simple.
Well, again, governments work for the banks, not the other way around.
That's it, Kate. But see, you start to look into what happened with Prince William. Prince William III was in on this from the very, very get-go, because he was an insignificant whatever in Holland. So I don't really know much of what he did in Holland, apart from he fought a couple of battles. But when he came to Britain and married, I think it would have been Charles II's daughter. But his son, the Duke of Monmouth, he's fighting away, saying, "No, I'm rightful king." Do you know what I mean? Stuarts. But the Stuart clan, as Michael Sargent says, Stuart. Do you know, this has gone back to the old families. Up above Scotland, you have the Faroe Isles. Do you know, you start to look at Scotland, you've got the Hebridean Isles, you've got the Hibernian contact. I know Hibernians would have been in Scotland, the Dalriatians. And that's where my family come from. Do you know what I mean? That's where I got into all this, was just family. Studying my family, do you know, looking at my clan McNabb, you know, and then fun out like really crazy stuff to do with the Stone of Destiny and the Stone of Jacob. Do you know, and a lot of people don't know what the Stone of Destiny is. That would be the Stony Scoon. It's spelt scone.
Yes, Queen's son.
Yeah, because that's where the king and queens are crowned on. Exactly.
Yeah, Elizabeth wasn't she? No, she wasn't.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, there's never been a king coronated on this stone since basically whatever English king came up and stole it at the time. Would have been Longshanks. I think Longshanks tried a couple of times.
I think it was Eddie Longshanks.
That's actually bad. I don't know that.
And again, let's get back to the Druidic magic aspect of it, because that throne was stolen from Ireland.
Yeah, Tara.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, Kate, I looked into that, and it was actually I was saying the Hibernians and the Dalriatians. The Dalriatians were actually they were like an Irish, whatever, Israelite tribe. That's what I would call them, who came from Ireland, who came to Scotland, because there was Pictish tribes who were like, when you look at kind of the Pictish stuff, the Icenies and down in England, and then you come up to some of the tribes in Scotland. We've got the Pix itself. I'm sure, and actually in Egypt meant the painted ones.
Well, yeah, Paul, the Irish and the Scottish to me are the same people.
Yeah, and the Welsh, Kate, the Welsh.
And the Welsh as well, yeah.
Yeah, the Welsh.
That's Britain. Britain got its name from you love this, Kate, Bryphonic. Britain.
And that's
the
Bryphonic.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I'll go back to that man, Sunderland, who I was talking about, because I've went on a bit, you know. I'm not
Paul,
too much
hang on, before you get on your roll again, I just it's 16 minutes to roll over here. We'll cover this for as long as it needs to be covered, and I've got a couple of people that have jumped in the call here, but I want to do the quick shout out before we roll over. For those that want to call in, it's 661-467-2401, and of course you can Skype in through the Blog Talk page. If I'll just check to see what the BTR listener number is tonight, which I didn't see yet, so let me just check it out.
050.
050. Yes, I think I did mention that already, didn't I? I think I did. BTR listener 050. Put that in your contact search. Hit search, and when it comes up, just right-click it and hit call, and that'll bring you right to the board. Once you're on the board, all you have to do is hit 1 on the dial pad of the phone and open the dial pad on Skype and hit 1 there. Always be mindful that when people put their hands up on the board, I open their mics. So your mic will be open at all points, so please be mindful to mute on your end. Make sure that it's very quiet, or I'll have to mute on this end, because we've had a crazy amount of interruption noise over the last while. Why, I don't know, but not just me, but lots of people have been texting me about it. They've had enough too, so let's just keep that in the back of our minds for everybody else. That being said, thank you to Giovanni and the criticalmassradio.co.uk. Anything that anyone can do to flow energy, love, and light towards Critical Mass Radio, the hub of this mighty wheel that's spinning out this consciousness perfectly, please feel free to do so. It's all greatly appreciated. And that makes the table yours too, doesn't it? Well, it is yours. That's the point. So that being said, just Colleen know, and 856. Who is 856? I got too many people in my head.
Yeah, that's why I can't remember that fella from London's name, because you can only remember so many names. And Paul, honestly, that what you've been talking about there has been absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, mate, you should look into this, by the way, because you're from this region. You're from the land of the Gododin, and that's when I've looked into that, mate. And Ken, there's see the story of the 300. The story of the 300, well, there's a story of the 300 in many Gododin fighting for, wait you hear this, Loth of Lothian, but his name was actually pronounced Lot of Lothian. And
my family comes from Scotland.
That's from Queen and the Green Knights trilogy, you know.
There's a town that's got my surname.
Yeah, well, you look at names of these towns, mate, start to look at them, and then try and reference them, you know, Bryphonic names. There's a lot of Bryphonic names, do you know what I mean? And a lot of people from Wales, that's how I want Wales, like a couple of Welsh people to phone in, because they know all this stuff about the Arthur stories. Well, we were Britain, the Arthur stories, a lot of them, like say, you've heard of Alan Wilson? Well, Alan Wilson, he's done a lot of stuff pointing towards the Arthur stories and the legends of
Alan Gardner.
Do you know?
You talk about the Dark Ages when the Romans pulled out, when like the King Arthur and the Knights of Camelot.
Well, didn't listen to them about the Dark Ages, because that is a total bullshit, mate.
Yeah, I'm just talking about a specific time.
Like 300 years we stopped writing. Come on. The whole Europe.
I know.
Okay, guys. Okay, you're talking over each other again. Breathe, please. Thank you.
I got a pausing moment.
Yeah, well.
In regards to what the banks have stolen, if we can look at it, we can see that they've stolen the truth. And if we can look at it again, we'll see that truth is the natural energies, the natural magic. And it's not so much of a theft, more of a taking it away from our point of view.
Yeah, co-opting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in that truth, we have the greatest of power. That's why I say thank you for what you've shared. Because within that, we have the evidence that they have falling out of the truth. And our truth will stand against their theft. And it is the sisters, the matriarch, that allows us to do this for those who are the thieves, the masons, if you wish, just to give you an example. They do not honor the feminine. The natural ways honor the feminine. They honor the feminine in such a way, when they have their moon, they go to the lodge and do nothing. Everything is taken care for them. The masons, on the opposite side of that truth, put their girls in the corner. Let them get them tea and make them steaks. It is this truth that will unwind their control. So when we look at our sisters, look at them as gods. Face them as if they were God themselves and they could hear your thoughts.
That was the piece I was going to bring in.
Well, you share your part then.
No, it's beautiful, but I was really following Paul, and I was going to tell Mystified, thank you for asking Paul to slow down a little bit, because he brings in such beautiful information. I don't want to miss a word of what he's saying, and I'm actually able to follow him a little better now that he's been on a few times.
Thank you, Shirley. I'm trying. Like,
yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with passion, fella. Nothing.
Yeah,
You'll hear the passion coming through.
That's what I was going to say. There's so much passion and no ego at all. It's just he just wants to share so much of the truth that's coming to him, and it's beautiful. But I just wanted to touch on what Tracy had said and what Darren had touched on also, and that was the moon lodge and the moon time, and that's where the village, the community, it takes a village, is so powerful, because it used to be where the women would be taken, and the group that I'm involved in, it's called the Red Tent, and we actually work with the young girls who have, it's called their first moon time, and it's a rite of passage, and it's and it's honoring that sacredness of your moon time. And throughout cultures, you know, they had done this for thousands of years before the male-dominated patriarchy. And there is a sacred regenerative properties in the menstrual blood. And there is, just like in the urine, there is the stem cells. And so there is the regenerative properties. And in some cultures, they actually drink the blood.
Oh, yeah.
And some people may, groan at that. But many people groan at knowing that many of us drink urine. Or if they knew that the eye drops that they put in their eyes has urine in it.
Or eat dead human flesh called Big Macs.
Yes. Or if they even knew that these infant baby boys that are circumcised, that skin, the stem cells from the circumcision skin is used in skin creams. Very expensive skin creams.
Freeze-dried pregnant woman's pee. Restarts testicular atrophy.
I've looked into that. You should, mapping, you shouldn't be circumcising, you shouldn't be cutting out the body.
Not at all.
But that's Talmudic.
No.
Talmud, when you read the Talmud, it's dark. The Talmudic stuff's dark. because it says kind of strange things, you know.
Yeah, it's no different than female genital mutilation. It's wrong.
Yeah, well actually the Jewish, they don't actually cut it off. Actually, some sects of the Jewish faith bite it off, you know.
Yeah,
his father bites it off. He's meant to have his
rabbis.
He's meant, his father, the kid's dad's meant to bite it off, because his father's meant his son's blood on his lips. That's kind of, but you look at that, that's kind of to do with the Kabbalah too. You know what I mean? That's kind of to do with Kabbalah.
What's interesting, because of the, there's even drugs. Women take drugs to stop their menstrual cycle because it's a pain to them, or it's inconvenient, or
right.
So many people used to call it, it's my curse. I'm on my curse time. And now there are scientists around the world, and they are doing research on the menstrual blood and actually taking it, and there are research reports that they are saying that they are experiencing states of higher physical and spiritual states. So there's so much that's our natural way that we are, society wants us to think that it's dirty, and so we don't know of the power that we have. So this the blood moon is, we can really look at it and see where that power has been taken away and reclaim it.
Yeah, again, Colleen, just to jump in real quick on that, yes, this is the power of intention. If you can be made to think means one thing or another, that is what is getting created. This is why, for me, it's about dispelling all of this and sticking on the allegories as to look at the physical corruptions as the effects of a mistranslated allegory.
Yes, and just canceling them out of your energy field.
It only takes one to do it. So as soon as you see something, call it out. It's done. You've done it for the whole planet. That's the power you wield. All you got to do is mention it to someone and go, hey, it's a good idea. Now it's got full force and effect, and the universe shifts accordingly. This is the magic I speak of, and people are experiencing it. Isn't that cool?
It is cool.
We don't need to go to a big place with a big owl and dance around naked and rape women and children and stuff. No, we just got to change our minds, right? Don't get caught in the physical traps. Everything's allegorical. Cycle. This is a natural cycle. So look at the wheel of fortune as it turns around, and it we get the fractal of the moon, the 28-day cycle, the divine feminine. Everything is a fractal of everything. It's just a matter of sitting back far enough to have a look at it, to see the big picture and the small picture at the same time. What is it really saying? What is it really translating into? And we've got about 3.5 minutes until we roll over here, guys. I may ask Mike or whoever if you want to keep going here. I'm just sitting back listening anyway, so if you guys want to go for a bit, just let me know. And that's cool with me. But for those that want to get in, you'll have to get in 3 minutes or you'll miss out. 661-467-2401. Or you can, of course, once we roll over, if you're not on the board, you can always wait until the show becomes available right after on the download on the Blog Talk page you're listening on. People ask me, where do I download it? The same page you listened on. Just got to refresh it, and the little download button's there. Or, of course, Giuseppe at Lightworkers Media, he puts them up every day as well. So thank you again, Giuseppe, for your undaunted and just get it done thing you do. Wow. So great big thank you there as well.
Yeah. I would actually like to say, Kate, yesterday, or the last time I was on, I was talking about the Masonic, the blindfold, and what it represented, and then Rich came in, do you know, and he wasn't happy with Darren. And I never got to finish that, what you were saying with Ro. You asked you to explain everybody with Ro, spirit breath. Well,
yeah, it
depends.
It's pronounced like the Scottish R. Ro.
Ro.
Yeah.
Ro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, Ro. It depends on however you want to spell it. R-O-E or R-H-O. If you spell it R-H-O, Ro. You spell that backwards, you get Or.
Or. Yep.
Or. And Or in Hebrew means light. How crazy is that? Do you know what I'm saying? And how crazy is it us Scottish and that? And what's your name, mate? The Newcastle lad. Well, he'll be able to pronounce these words as well because of his dialect. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. And look at Ro, R-O-E. Okay, let's talk about Roman, shall we? Ro, R-O-E, is the spawn of salmon, the eggs, or of a fish, the roe. The caviar, if you will. Interesting word. Caviar, yeah. Okay, and then Row, R-O-W, which of course is what the Roman slave galleys need. They need Romans. And, it goes on and on. And you have the R-H, which from Rhea. So there's your RH positive, RH negative blood. Seeing as we're talking about blood, we might as well bring that one into it. And of course, O being the ovum of creation. So there's the R, which is spirit breath, the H of the Trinity, right? Creation into creation. And if they can capture your ores, your aura, who's going to be rowing your boat for you?
Exactly.
Right? Who's got your light? Eeyore. Winnie the Pooh.
Well, you're saying they call it the Orhar Ganuz. It means primordial light. They say there's a certain light with God and we can't see it. Do you know what I mean? They call it the light of God. And that's called Orhar Ganuz. It means primordial light. The light that first came here. Because when you started looking at the creation side through the Kabbalah stuff, that's what I did with a cube, the hypercube. God created, like, so when you pick up a cube, it's got 6 faces to a cube. That's like 6 directions. You've got 12 corners to the cube. You know what I'm saying? And that refers to the 12 directions of time and space. Do you know, that's where Savant would come into stuff like this. Do you know what I'm saying? But that's what that's referenced to when you start to look at how God created and he withdrew from a single point. Because people think it was a big bang. Do you know? And maybe it wasn't a big bang. It was maybe a big... Do you know what I mean? Because we're in a vacuum, speedy a vacuum. We can't hear these bodies, these celestial bodies resonate. Do you know? But it doesn't mean we can't feel them because as Darren and that explained, we're bags of water. Water, if it's in a bag, you shake it vibrates type thing. You know. So we're vibrating from these energies. But when you look into, like, say, what I was saying with the masonry side. That's why they wear a blindfold in the opening ceremony. So when they take that off, they're saying that, like, to the initiate, we're going to show you the light, basically. And then it's all very Kabbalistic from then on in. Do you know what I'm saying? But as I say, I've been looking at the history of it. Who started it? Where does it come from? And it started from that man I was speaking about earlier, no doubt, Queen Mary Scott's cousin, a man called James Sunderland. It was his family that started Freemasonry. It was actually him in 1560. The unofficial lodge would have been in my region called Mid Calder, which would have been Kippin's Inn. And this man, James Sunderland, as I says, he was the Knights Preceptor of the Jerusalem, Rhodes, Malta, feudal baron of Calder, Turfickin. Do you know what I mean? East Calder. And this man had some titles, but what he did was he came back and gave them to his cousin. That would have been Queen Mary Scots, who got killed. He gave her all his titles, and then she gave them back to him, all his lands. So he was given all these lands, but all these lands are Templar lands. When you start to get into who owned a fair bit of, you could say, Lovians, the lower regions between there's a good 30-mile distance between the borders of Scotland, you know, and when you get to Edinburgh, it's like the regions between Strathclyde, before you got up to Inverness, all this land was owned by the Templar Knights. Templar owned this whole of Scotland. That's how you've got all the connections to do with Rosslyn. Well, Rosslyn was to do with, like, say, that's to do with the 12 noble knights from Scotland who went and fought in the First Crusade. The First Crusade, I think it was 11 something or something like that, you know. But that would have been William the First, the Lionheart. I got this from Used Cash, you know, looked into that from Used Cash. And that was well before Richard the Lionheart, you know. That was the Scottish. That's where the lion came from. But these people, when they went to the Holy Land, were looking for stuff. They went with a list, and I've been reading some Masonic monitors, and they basically say they got that list. They went with a list. They wanted 12 things, and they got every single thing in the list, so they say. And they were looking for the Holy Grail and all that carries on. Do you know what I'm saying? Whether they got it or not. But more importantly, it was books. They were after some books. One of them was a book written by Solomon. A lot of people say it's maybe, they don't know, it was called by weights. It's either weights, words or numbers, weights or words. I can't mind, I'll have to go and reference that again. But they say they got this book, and it's one of the most, they say it's one of the most important magic book ever written. And they say they got that book. Do you know what I mean? And as I say,
what's the book? Paul, what's the book?
It was called Weights. I think it was either Weights, Words or Numbers, Words and Weights. I can't mind it actually clean.
Okay, let's play a little bit on the. We're getting way too literal for my liking here.
That's not me. This is
let's take the phonics of the weights, numbers, and measures. Let's have a look at the sound of way. What does it mean? Well, it means a direction. It also means a name, the unknown name. If you don't know your way, this is the thing, right? This is the mystery of life. Do you know where you are going to end up? No. So the way is the mystery. That's the name of God. That's the way. Okay? T, there's the law of truth. Way T's. Way T, okay, so the way of truth. There's your weight. Good things come to those who walk in the way of truth. Act. Okay? Let's go to numbers. The things that numb you. The sigils, the shapes. The blinded symbols, CYMBAS, of the light drum kit, if you will, and the cymbal crashes are blinding your visual ears. And then, of course, me assures, the magnetic electric as yours. Right? So there's your weights, numbers, and measures from a phonetics, and to me that makes a whole lot more sense than the literal, what we would think of weights, as in, oh, that's heavy. Numbers, oh, let's write a little number down and do some math. And measures, which is, well, let's check the length of it. So the me as yours, magnetic electric as yours. This is what happens when you walk in the way of truth. You've removed all the numbers, and now it is your magnetic electric as yours, your creations. Right? So there's a phonetic breakdown of it using the same sounds but with different intents because you slow down enough to see those sounds with your ears.
That's what I mean, Torfican. Torfican is spelled, the end of it would be Phician. The ending Ician, same as the ending as Phoenician. You start to look at these lands round about, kind of druidic.
Well, cyan is blue. That's the spirit. Okay, spirit on, which is the goddess. The spirit, so the spirit of the goddess is the blue, right? That's why it's now not a blood moon; it's a blue moon.
Well, I'd actually like to say, Kate, about Torfican. There's a prehistoric hill up there, and they say it goes back to 3,000 years, and it's a cairn, and cairn basically means, you know what I'm saying, where there was bury somebody. Cairn's like a burial ground, but actually it wasn't. It actually goes way back, before, I think it's like 1,000 years before Stonehenge was actually built. This is how old fucking Cairn is. Do you know what I mean? How the Cairn is called Cairn Papal. And Cairn Papal's like, it does predate Stonehenge by 1,000 years. And I've looked into some of this stuff. I found Ike talking about Torfucking and I'm saying, I live here, mate. I've done my research, and Ike was talking a lot of shit. But he put up some strange images to do with, like, say, Torfucking and the islands in Scotland, and the island, and the fourth, 3 islands, Craigleaf, Lambda, and Frida. And meant to be, they line up perfect, if you know what I mean, with... what's the 3 stars in the sky, Katie, you know what I'm saying? Orion's Belt. Orion. Yeah, Orion's Belt, yeah. These 3 islands meant to be lining up perfectly with Orion's Belt. And Torfucking's perfect.
Hang on, slow down. There is a mirror in the sky, and I'm going to keep bringing this up. People keep referencing Orion's Belt in terms of the pyramids and what have you. There is a more perfect alignment with the stars of Cygnus.
Yeah. Well, as I was saying, this Torfucking lines up with that. It's perfect with the Dog Star Sirius. Maybe it's perfect with the Dog Star Sirius. Like looking at the certain times the astrology, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? Whatever month it is, I can't really remember, Kate. But maybe it lines up perfectly. I was thinking, I don't know much about, like you say, astrology and all that. It's never been my bag. Do you know what I mean?
You remember when Siobhan was talking about the start of the Nile the other night? There was I think it was Graham Hancock and that other fella that I forget his name now. They went looking and they found a astronomical.
You're thinking of Tellinger, I think. Michael Tellinger?
No, the German fella. I think he's German. It's in the desert, like right at the. I'm getting an echo.
Yeah,
right
we have
at the start where the Nile is. It's like it's an astronomical clock, and it's the oldest one in the world, and it's like where they think that the Egyptians came from, the southern part of Africa.
Yeah, that was Michael Tellinger. It was Michael Tellinger's work that uncovered Adam's clock, which is in South Africa. I believe it's South Africa. It's right down there, though. It is the oldest known astronomical clock, basically.
No, this is not in Africa. This is in the very southern part of Egypt. This is where I'm referring to. I can't remember his name. My mind's gone
doesn't
blank.
matter. It doesn't matter.
But it ties in with what Siobhan was saying about that being the creation place of the planet, the Nile Delta, the very start of it. Hang on, let me find it. You just carry on.
For me, it had to be, because I look at the fractal of a free spirit, or Afrika, in the sense that you look at the continent itself, and it's a human head with an elongated skull, right?
Yes.
Robert Blaval, that's it.
No, so I'm always looking at the pictures and the fractals of the pictures. What is it saying? I mean, it's like looking at the Nile and seeing where all of the pyramids were aptly placed along the spine, and of course Cairo, or Kiro, being in the pineal gland position. That's why Kiro was moved over to Rome, right? That's why they have the Kiro symbol, right? They just pronounce it differently. Cairo, Kiro, same thing to me. Ka, which is the spirit breath. So, and to go back to what you guys were talking about with regards to the truth, the reason why these individuals have the power is because what they're doing, they do have the truth, and they're corrupting it. They're using it for a malevolent purpose. And I do not envy them, and I can understand the fight that they have in them, because when the ruse is up, which it is, that's when the piper comes a-calling. And they have to atone for all the evil intents that they have done. And those that are in cahoots with them, be it anyone that's worshiping and playing in the system, there's a heads up, cops and the shills, you get to go along with them. So these masters that you serve now, you think they're nasty now, just wait till they're in a place, in a state of being. You think this is hell right now. There's time to change the road you're on, but I wouldn't want to be tick-tocking with that clock right now, because this game is over.
It is beautifully over. It is. Freedom. Isn't it freedom to know, to feel that truth in you?
Yeah, how many warnings do these people need? You know, it's your very soul you're playing with here. You don't want it, fine. Well, then you stop harming others. You want to go to your own personal hell, that's fine. I mean, knock yourself out. It's not my choice. And it would be it's like this. The reason why I share information is because if somebody else knows something that can help me in my own spiritual path to not endure anything more of this nonsense, I would, hope that they would have the benevolence to share it. And that's the only reason. I just share it. And what someone wants to do with it is entirely up to them. It's the whole lead a horse to water. You can't make it drink, because usually if you do, you'll end up drowning it, and the damn thing doesn't even know it's thirsty in the first place, and it's going to die of thirst anyway. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Catch 22. So it's your choice, not mine. It's yours. Free will choice, baby. Have fun.
What a wonderful sharing. Way to
discretion.
Thanks for using your ears, Kate.
That's awesome. That's why I like to be the horse of Babylon, right?
Yeah.
I pronounce it a little bit differently. It is the year of the horse, isn't it? And Colleen, did you draw a card?
There.
I did.
Yes, you did.
It was actually the card of transformation, number 39.
And how neat is that?
Yes.
Did you want to share a little bit?
Okay. I was just going to say
go ahead.
When you talk about when people feel that they're going to save their family, or they're going to save their friends by, what they have learned, and their families don't want to hear it. We've all experienced that. And I always think of, in the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna tells Arjuna, when Arjuna is really upset because he sees his friends and family out there on the battlefield, and Krishna tells Arjuna that they're already dead. There's nothing he can do. They're already dead. So all we can do is share at this table, and everybody share their piece, but we can't save anybody. We're here to save ourselves, and in saving ourselves, we come together and save each other.
It's my favorite passage from the Bhagavad Gita.
Me too. Yeah.
That's class, Colleen. That was class. Honestly, that was class, Colleen.
Brought her all home. Thank you.
Yeah, it's class. It's not, Colleen. You've got a lovely tone. You've got a lovely tone when you speak. Lovely tone.
Yeah. So on the transformation, it's power reclaimed, true freedom. The roller coaster ride of life reveals a timeless source of peace. The challenge is true freedom demands relinquishing limiting patterns and beliefs. A part of you must die to be reborn. And there's a lot more, but we don't have time. Time.
You have as much time as you need. It's only 9:15. It's like whatever. Like I said, it's the second show today, and to be honest, I'm very, very tired, and this is all I do all day, so it's yeah.
I need to go too, but I think that for me it brought it all together here, and it's beautiful. Everyone sharing. Thank you.
That's the purpose.
Thank you for
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think that's the hardest thing for all of us to go through, Colleen, what you just shared there, is the fact that we look out on that battlefield called general society. We see so many, and that's what the compassionate heart does, is it sees and feels it. And that's the part you have to let go of. And when you do let go, you create a different energy within yourself that becomes more attractive. You know, that's we've all been through our personal hells. You know, that's the whole purpose of that poem I wrote, Prometheus Bled, and we've all climbed that mountain of Olympus, and we've all had our livers ripped out of us every single day, and some of us endure it every day. And you know, it gets to a point where you just kind of go, no, you just stay the course. There is only one course. I had this question asked of me today. What is the course? There is only one. Truth. And as hard as it might be to swallow some days, it might scare the living shit out of you. It will. Trust me. But you don't need to be afraid, because there are some of us that have walked that. And I'm talking here right now. And I'm not going to pat myself on the back here, but I will say this about my particular walk. I don't know anyone in my immediate surrounding that would have done what I did, that would have stood in the face of what I had to stand in the face of. And I had to do it alone. Not only did I have to do it alone, I had to do it with people stabbing me in the back, kicking me when I was down, parasiting off me the whole time. So I do understand it. I really do. And my whole purpose is really simply this. In as much as what I got from this experience, I appreciate it and I'm grateful for everything. But I'll tell you, if I can share something that makes sure that someone else does not have to experience that, that's my purpose. And while it may be hard to believe, that's the enchanted ego will tell you it's hard to believe. But I assure you that when you do get this, you will know exactly what I'm talking about, and you will know that there was no reason to be afraid. Take your step, one step at a time. Quit biting off more than you can chew. Take a little thing. I've made it as simple as cutting up a library card. What Jeff had shared earlier today, he put himself together his own ritual fire and burnt receipts and everything else. He returned that phoenix fire to the ashes. He removed and purged all of that energy. Yeah. Well, I also thought then, well, take a candle or whatever, make it your own personal sacred fire.
Yes.
And like I've got a candle right now. All I have to do is rub my fingers over it, and I know that there is DNA burning. So every contract that was ever conjured through that DNA is up in flames now. Everything is destroyed. And it is that thought. Because I know this one thing. The very magic that was used against us, I'd say it's pretty powerful, huh? Well, this is the same stuff. What makes you think that because one can do it that you can't? And that, for me, is the biggest delusion of all. Thinking that you can't. But here's magic. You can't. That's what a spell is. It's an incantation. It's a cant. It's a chant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay? That's where chant comes from. Mer-chant. Mer-cant. Okay? The CH
look
sound
into
like
it, Tookie, the best it is, when you look into it, they know this stuff works, but they don't want you knowing that it works.
That's what they're afraid of.
Because exactly. Because what they're saying is, it's all in the individual, like I was saying earlier on. So if you've got like a nasty kind of person, he's going to do. Because they say in Jewish magic, you can create your own angel. It's like say when you want to do astral projection and all of that. What they say is basically when you read Arya Kaplan, is you create a golem. Do you know what I mean? Like a physical.
Oh yeah.
You try and imagine it, and that's what you would use to basically as your you would basically you need to create something for your soul to physically go into astral projects. Do you know what I'm saying? But when you start
it's all everything's energy.
Yeah, Kate, Colleen, that's it. Everything's energy, but what they say is right, is everything is energy. And what they say is there is some people out there who, when they say they're Lilith's children, this is why you get the Jew and the Gentile. They say, yeah, some people out there are just bad. Do you know what I'm saying? And they shouldn't be learning this stuff because they say it's about correction. You need to correct yourself. Because you're a god, every day you go about wanting stupid things like TVs and cars and whatever, and judging people. That's the biggest thing. You judge people. Do you know?
Kate was sharing what she went through.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm sure Kate would say that she went through a huge transformation from that, and we're on the transformation card here. I just wanted to share this one paragraph. Like a caterpillar relinquishes its form, literally dissolving in the cocoon, transformation begins with sacrifice. Would you use that word sacrifice, Kate, of what you went through and what you did?
Well, you say, ki ro phi se. Absolutely. The creation of the ki, or life, of spirit breath through creation. That's what sacrifice. It depends on how you pronoun and say it, you see?
Yes. So transformation begins with say how you said it. And yet the nourishment gleaned from crawling along the ground is not lost. All that effort, methodically, climbing up tree trunks and inching along branch by branch to each tasty leaf, fortifies the creation of new being, one who views life from a more exalted perspective. The butterfly emerges into the same world she left behind, but she most certainly doesn't see it the same way.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Classically.
So here, everybody, if you got a pen handy, write down the word sacrifice as you normally spell it, and let me show you it. This is a Phoenician translation. This is how I sound things out and how I see what really is going on. In order to, well, when you say the word sacrifice, people will automatically think of a negative thing. Oh, you've sacrificed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's make it a positive thing, right? Remember, we got to get out of this duality. So let me write it down myself. So we got S-A-C-R-I-F-I-C-E. So we have S-A, which can also be pronounced say, which is Latin for the Trinity of himself, herself, itself. So there's your, let's call it source. I like source instead of God or creator or whatever, because you have soul, soul ro se, right? So you have soul, which is to sow the seeds of spirit breath into creation. So ro se, source. Okay, so let's go sacrifice. Say, so there's the first two letters. Just put it together. I can go letter by letter, but here's just to make a sentence out of it.
We got it. Wow.
Okay.
Holy,
so you have
changed the game.
All right, so sa, or say, which is creation, source. Si, which of course is the unconditional note of love. I can pronounce it ka or ki. So I put an X there, which is Io, the goddess, or X, life. Put a circle around it just to make it truth. And then you have ro again. So ki, so it's C-H-E if you want to spell it out. So it's S-E-C-H-E-R-H-O. So there's your say ki ro. So there's your first four letters. Right? And you have the I, which is the infinite self. If you want to put that in there, you can. And phi, P-H-I, which is golden mean, 1.618, all of nature's creation. And there's say once again in the form of C-E instead of S-E or S-A. So let's say it as a sentence. Wow. Sacrifice means this. The source of life through spirit breath of the I, and of course I means yes as well, and what you see with, through sacred creation, phi, into creation. Mm-hmm. So sacrifice is how you recreate your universe. It's pretty easy.
Your power.
Imagine doing that with every single word.
That's all I do.
The magic that you can do And this sort of thing that you've found in language, I don't think anyone has found before. Even like people that really looked into this, like hardcore linguists, you know. Like
well,
Russell.
they're too literal, Brandon, with the sigils, and this is the point I've been trying to get across. Get out of the literal and get into the lateral. Have some fun with it. Be a kid. You know?
Yeah. Into the musicality of the language. Like I love the accents of the Scotsman and the Londoner, and you know, and you know, I love hearing, you know,
and the Californian.
Oh yeah,
I love
everyone.
Well, I am Californian too, you know, so.
I'm Pennsylvania, California.
I'm half and half.
And I love the Boston. Richie's got a great accent. I mean, it looks like everybody from all over. You know, it's beautiful.
And Hassan, when he came in.
Yes. Oh, actually, I'm going to see if it's a bit quieter on his end. Yeah, I think he's still here. Oh no, he's gone. But yeah, Hassan's got great.
Kate, so then on that end of the sentence there, wow, what a difference. So transformation begins with sacrifice, but its transformation begins with recreating. Recreating
your universe. Right? Look at the accent. Look at the word accent. You have AC, ak, and that's also spirit, the proper pronunciation. It's the mirror. See, Ka is the personified spirit. Ak is the pure spirit. Okay? So you have AC, or alternating current, which is your caduceus. You're bringing your oil and water into balance. And say ent. Ak, say ent. See, say, there's creation again, source. And ent is mind. Spirit, source, mind. So go ahead and tell me that an accent isn't important, because I'll tell you a lot of the clues in phonics came out of the fact that I have a Belfast brogue, so I learned to listen to things quite differently, and I probably have a better Canadian accent than most Canadians do, because I really worked on it. Someone's having a tinkle.
Call me peeing or something.
But an underrated linguist.
What's that?
Getting those stem cells.
It's an underrated linguist. You know, you should be on like the cover of Science, and you know, or whatever. No, actually, you should just be who you are. Right?
I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing, Brandon. You're here. Everyone that is in the game is here right now. Okay.
Yeah, but they have to get that. I mean, they have to get this code thing that you found. You know what I mean? I think that's essential.
It's a handy little tool. Look, this is why I've written so much about it. You know, so I guess I got to finish that key off so people can do that with every word. But look at the word sacrifice. Look what I pulled out. The same things all the time. Say, ki, ro, I, fi, say. Sacrifice. And you hear me saying all those same sounds all the time. They're in every friggin' word.
Yep.
Kid, you got to do that. That could be a bestseller book. Phoenician for the modern Phoenician for a modern life, or something daft like that. If somebody can make a book of Klingon, for God's sake, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing about this, I'm writing the book of life as I go. I could probably do everything that needs to be done in terms of sound in maybe a dozen pages. It doesn't need to be a book. You know, there's just a few key things that you can pull out of words to completely reverse them. You know, it's basically knowing the prefixes and suffixes, and of course they have all the same sort of sounds. And what I noticed through etymology is all of these things converged on each other. Look at the word conver. You take the hex out. Conver key. Convert. Conver key. Right. So to converge. With the truth of life. Oh, look at that. Converge actually means with the truth of life. Isn't that funny how that works?
But there's something different that you're doing, I think, here that goes beyond.
Oh, it's a material. I know this. This is why it's been so hard for me to describe this. It's like, how the hell do I explain this?
Right.
In a song. It's frustrating.
Step on over to the other side.
Kate, you've done an awesome job.
Thanks so much, Kate. I gotta go.
No worries.
Yeah.
Okay, Darren.
Much love.
Much love, Darren.
Namaste, Don.
We're at 9:30 anyway, so if you guys want to roll out, that would be great. What I was thinking of doing tomorrow night is rebroadcasting the show that Paul did with Sivan tomorrow night, because I'm not sure if everyone's actually heard that, and Sivan was on another power roll. So for those that haven't heard it, before I roll out of here, I'm going to upload the show. I've already got it downloaded because I've had a few people ask me about the book and whatever, so I'm not sure if everyone's heard it. But to me, it is a critical show. And I said to Paul before he went on the show with him, don't worry, you won't have to talk much. Once Sivan gets on a roll, just let him go. He texted me about an hour in and said, you were right. I said, yeah, that's the joy of Sivan. Let him roll. That man's on a mission, and I know a man on a mission. It's like, come on, all I'm going to do is grease those wheels, baby. Let's go. So.
Yes, on your show, then, was it the night before?
Aloha. We did the Saturday night.
Andrew's game class.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
and
then.
See you in a moment.
Much love, Brandon.
Brandon,
and then when he was on with Paul, the first night with you, and then Paul, his energy was so different than the other times he was on the show. He was, God, I don't even know how to say it. He was his energy was just like really amped up.
Well, he knows the outlet that this table is, and I know the frustration that many, and I will say it, real truthers, the frustration that real truthers have is finding a platform or a forum where they can just go. And you guys know how much fun I've had trying to deal with other radio hosts and whatnot that are just not really in the mood to take responsibility for their existence, and others that have. I've had a couple of beautiful shows with people. Unfortunately, the long haul of it's just
I remember.
a lot of, you know them,
yeah.
And they're funny. You look back at it and it's like, oh, that's funny, and it is hilarious. It's like, yeah, no point.
Well,
there's that
people.
Battlefield thing again. Go ahead.
Yes. If people would actually listen back and hear themselves when they do cut in, when you or Sivan or whoever's on a download, because the energy is just like you run into a wall.
Oh, that's exactly it. It feels like someone's hit me in the gut with a baseball bat.
Yes. And it
seriously,
doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't. It heads down and something jumps in, and it's like if you were to take the palm of your hand, the lower part where it's really hard, and just smack yourself really good in the forehead. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I always
Literally.
say it feels like somebody came from behind and hit you with a 2x4.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it feels like. It's not painful,
it's
but
like
it's
shocking. It's like
it is.
It's like yes, because your energy is so you're not there, and so because your download, you're really not there, and so when somebody does that, it's shocking to your physical body.
Well, you're not going me back into the body where I'm trying to get the hell out.
Yes.
And it's okay. I mean, it's a live and learn. We all walk this path, and everything is perfect, and we get a chance to see all these contrasts. And I think it's only in that light that people ask me about my patience and whatever. Well, yeah, it's definitely it's a learned skill, and there's times I'll be sitting back and just got this crazy energy crushing my chest. Some nights, and it's just the energy of the literals and things going off on spirals or whatever. But I choose to sit back now, where, on occasion when I've actually had enough, you'll know. But and it's not because of anything anyone's doing to me. It's the pain of watching people do it to each other that really, really, really bothers me. And I don't know. It's like having one of the best secrets in the world. and you want to share it with people because you know what it's going to do for them, and you know they'd rather watch a sitcom instead of this blockbuster movie. You know, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the sitcom, by the way, is a rerun. It's the same Gilligan Island episode over and over and over.
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day, yeah.
Yes.
You know, so...
Aloha, Mike. I think I heard Mike in there.
Yeah, he's in here. So I just want to say thank you to everybody in all ways, shapes, and forms. Because everything and everyone at this table that comes up at this table is absolutely critical. Because these are things that we get to work through. They're energies that we get to work through. You know, I've actually missed Richie not being on tonight. I think he might need a day or two. And that's okay. I mean, I know exactly where he's at. Been there. I have so been there. And I know others at this table have been there as well. And these are things that we all individually have to sort out for ourselves. Because here's the thing. Nobody's picking on anybody. Nobody's picking on anybody. These are all parts of the programs that are so crazy that can take over our helms if we're not completely mindful of it. And I'm constantly vigilant with it to maintain the toolbox outside of me. And on occasion, a few of the chisels come in and do a little cutting on me, but I'm well aware of those now. And at that moment, that realization, that's just, to me, another thread that needed severed in that emotional connection. I pull that out. And that's the joy of having the control of one's emotions. Because you get to finally experience them for what they are, and you get to choose which one you want to use. And you can mimic whatever emotion you want. You know, I can sound pissed off anytime I want. I can sound happy and gleeful and be completely in a neutral position in order to carry the intent across, where it's not only talking to the spirit, but it's also talking to the expected emotion that the ego is expecting. So tricking the trickster is what it's doing. And that's why I love to prove everyone right, because an ego will never argue with that. Neat how that works, huh? And I will. I'll prove.
You get tripped up. You still get tripped up when you still have those little corners that you still need to clean up and see where you still have work that needs to be done. I'm speaking about myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's nothing I'd love more than to keep my family around. There's nothing I'd love more than to have the things that I had in place with the people I love. Yes, I'd love to be sitting in my own home. I'd love that. There's a job to be done right now. And I won't be there until this job is done. So if anyone's wondering about my motivation, there it is. And nothing will stop me. Nothing. I've already seen a few posts from people that are in the same position, in the same resolve, that I and they shall never yield. We have the high ground, we control it. And if you think for 1 second I'm going to let that go or relinquish that after this walk, that's what I would call real psychopathy, real insanity. No. To the death, big to the death. So, any final words from anyone? We got about 20 minutes here until rollout, but if I can, I'd like to just roll out and get zoned.
Yeah, I'm ready to roll too. Much love to all.
It's been a long day.
For me.
Night, Chloe.
Oh, I will.
Good night. Much love.
Night, Chloe.
All right, guys. So, not sure about tomorrow night, but I think I will put the Savan show up that he did with Paul. I think everyone needs to hear that. And I do have the other one from Saturday night loaded up, so I will likely play that again one night this week as well, because there's a lot of powerful information in that as well. And Savan connects some beautiful dots in a very anagogic literal way that connects the anagogic literal that we speak of, and use how it meshes. and it's just beautiful the way he can describe it, because you can connect the dots perfectly with what we're doing here, with what he's doing. So on that, I will say much love to everybody, and again, great big thank you for standing to post, not yielding, and definitely none will pass. The destroyer and creator is here, and that's you. So let's play the game and get this nonsense over with. Fair?
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Kate.
All right, we'll catch you guys.
Sorry, I've got that Rob Freeman show loaded up now. I'll dig that fella's name out so you can put him together with Paul, because it'll be amazing.
Okay, we'll do. I'll let him get the name, and actually I just tagged Paul. Was it Rob Freeman that interviewed him?
Yeah. It was
okay, well, if you can find out, I'll tag Paul and Rob and see about getting Skype.
Yeah, but you should definitely listen to Savannah's stuff. Savannah's class, he's like a modern Manly P. Hall. That's what I can describe him as. He's
steroids.
Putting it out there. Yeah, definitely. He's putting it out there. He's saying, here, take a look at this. Isn't it shiny and good?
Exactly.
He's class. He is class, like.
Sorry, I got it wrong.
You're listening to
that was a
Kate
click
of
my
Gaia
mistake, but there we go.
Catch
you guys tomorrow night.
The game is
Night,
up.
Good night.
It's our turn.
Too fun. A few messages to the Aussie Police Facebook pages today. That was yesterday, by the way. Your letter to all police agents, and received one reply saying thank you, but not their cup of tea. So I sent them, did you know you're a criminal? Said, for your next cuppa. Received this reply. I wonder where Kate of Gaia gets these facts from. There is certainly no ancient text reference. So someone is interested to know more at Equal Area Command, which is good. So Jane replies, she spent most of the last 4 years researching to find the key. The name is the point where we became slaves. A great game has been played out, but now its time is up. Indeed it is. We're reclaiming ourselves from the system, and it's time we had some true peace officers standing shoulder to shoulder with us, each taking responsibility for self. They do some reading or not. It's entirely up to them. And added this ancient text. The Narmer palette, also known as the Great Hierakonpolis palette, or the Palette of Narmer, is a significant Egyptian archaeological find dating from about the 31st century BC, containing some of the earliest hieroglyphic inscriptions ever found. And see the graphic picture of the curse of a name. A scorpion mace to the head. Narmer palette is the corporation policy officer's hands when seeking the name to contract and gain jurisdiction. Great game has been played. Now it's over. No need to reply to me. Just such a good feeling to have an inkling of interest from one caught. Planted a seed. Well, and I replied, very well done. Truth is the potent bait of all. Was. And I also said to pass along my email. If people want to talk to me direct, especially those inside the system that may be awakening to the criminality that they're doing and having not been aware of it. See, that's the thing with me is until someone's known by their actions, they get painted with the same brush that their previous actions painted them with. That's not saying that someone can't change. Well, of course they can. And the only way that can be shown or proven is by the actions they do. And this is more about getting the information in, where if you can plant the seed of, doubt in their ungodly masters that are ruling them, it doesn't take long for the spirit to wake up to that. Do these people realize that they're enslaving themselves, their families, their children, in the day-to-day execution of their duties? Do they really know this? Do they know that they're selling out completely? Do they know that they're spiritually enslaved via the name? That they've given their full consent to be that name, and moreover, they've dug an even deeper hole. So, and this is going back a while. That one lawyer a friend of mine was talking to when we were exposing a lot of the a lot of this stuff. This is probably about 6-7 months ago, and this lawyer had said, we're really deep. It's not easy to get into where this particular gentleman was in terms of the legal profession, actually very high up, and but it's damn near impossible to get out, and it is. There's a lot of serious repercussions for someone that has sold their soul to that level.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
And good evening. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia, coming at you live. criticalmassradio.co.uk on 2 for Tuesday, 2nd edition. Won't be rolling over tonight, boys and girls, so just letting you know up front. Just the way I feel. So it's been a long year. Anyway, yeah. Where do I want to go tonight? There was a lot of different things that I was thinking about. Not one of them is really congealing into any formulated idea. But I seem to think that people still have many questions with regards to system and what have you. It seems to be always the common theme when people contact me, and how do I deal with this, and what do I do about this, and I'm worried about if I do this, I've got family, and that. It says, I totally understand that. And this is what occurs when the left brain ego mind is left to run the imagination instead of you, right? So, excuse me, that's what happens when, that little molehill that we all love to build into this huge mountain, which it's not there. And it's like, if you can imagine a big mound of dirt in front of you, and you've got a shovel, and you've got to take that mound of dirt from here and put it somewhere else. When you first look at the mound of dirt, it's very overwhelming. And for anyone that's ever moved a yard of gravel or whatever, a yard might not sound like that much, but it's a lot when you've only got you, a shovel, and a wheelbarrow. Yeah. It's a very overwhelming sort of thing. Would probably be much the same as the bricklayer that shows up for work in the morning to see 10 flats of nicely stacked brick, right? But like everything else, the job just gets done, and you do it one brick at a time, one brick at a time. And I simply apply that rule to my life anyway. It goes back to the allegory of dishes, How big does a pile of dishes get the longer you wait while you're comfortable watching a TV show or something? You remember the good old days? And the longer you sat and watched that show, the bigger that pile of dishes seemed to get until you finally just got up and did them, and you realized it wasn't that big a deal anyway. And you always feel better after the project's handed in, after you've had it waiting 2 weeks instead of doing it the night before. And our society has basically got us into that, everything on demand, right? Last minute delivery, basically. Well, the whole system is based on that. When you think about it, large companies don't warehouse stuff. Basically they order things as they're going to go through them. That might give them a day or two of production. Think of a car manufacturer, for example. They don't stock everything there in their warehouses. No, they generally have railway tracks running through their buildings, and deliveries will come in 1, 2, 3 times a day to keep the production lines going. That's the way our society has built. It's basically, if one thing goes wrong, what costs a meat stick or two? So I totally get the fear thing and and why people simply need to stand in truth. The truth will set you free. And that's really all there is to do. Excuse me. Stand in truth. So again, thanks, Jane. That's and I don't get a lot like this, but the ones that I do get, I like to share. And but I do get a lot of posts of people talking of their successes, emails and whatnot. D has been going crazy with stuff, and lots of stuff is dissolving. And of course, this being April 15th, we have a full moon or a blued moon. So let's not focus on the negative attributes of the red blood. Let's turn it into blued. Are we not coming into spring? That's what I thought too. And I was kind of wondering about that. I thought, wait a minute, the blood moon is supposed to be a harvest moon, or the hunter moon. That's when we're coming into the fall. So how can there be one in the spring unless that concept is trying to be planted in the human consciousness psyche to reenact that whole fall scenario again? Sorry, no, we're good. It's just going to be a full moon, and who knows how much shit that they've thrown into the atmosphere to make it appear red where it wouldn't normally. Isn't that funny how that works? You see, question everything, guys. That's what I do. It works for me. I don't take anything at face value. I'll look at it and listen for a bit and feel it out. And if it doesn't feel right, then I know it's bullshit. So just be mindful of that. We've been duped long enough, so. But I get the lines open early tonight, guys, because I'm really tired tonight. And I've had like over 30 spam hits of Facebook requests for, contact requests. So apparently sorry, it looks like another one just came in. Speak of the devil, let me just see. I think they're all from Namibia or Nigeria, whatever. Yeah, I've probably had about 200 in the last week. So there's another one. So that's 32 that I know so far today. There was probably a bunch when I woke up this morning. I think it was 14 or 15. Oh, actually, no, there was 21. So, yeah, so over 50 today. So I must be piquing somebody's interest. I don't know about you, but setting up a Facebook account is a pain in the ass. So, of course, when somebody sends a request and I know it's spam, I mark it as such, and that, well, they can't send a request to that name anymore. So that's I got somebody's interest. Yeah, as long as I'm keeping you entertained, that's good. What are you getting paid to do this for? Let me see, what, $100, $200 an hour? That's what your soul's worth? Cool. Well, keep at her. Don't worry about it. It's all good. You get a round trip, all expense paid, trip back to hell. Knock yourself out. Not something I would do personally, but knock yourself out. I'm good. Oh, we got Mystified, and we have Darren. Mystified, we haven't heard from you in a little bit. How are you doing? And Darren, how are you?
Hey, Keith. Yeah, all good. Just listening for a bit instead of adding to the conversation, just hearing other people's viewpoints and one thing and another. It's been some really interesting shows over the last few days, especially the water one last night.
Yeah, the power we have, it's as simple as putting your intent into the water and ingesting it. Remember, it's, say, for example, that car manufacturer that's dependent completely on those trains coming through. If something happens to that rail track, they're screwed. They've only got enough production for maybe one shift, at which point everyone goes home and the whole thing shuts down. And that's how this system is so precariously positioned. If one thing goes down in this system, the whole thing comes down. It really is that simple. Think of one, say a strike. The truckers decide to go on strike, and they've done that a few times. And there might be 2 or 3 days worth of stuff that is delivered on a demand basis, and those trucks don't show up after the 3rd or 4th day, the shelves are empty. And that's effectively what our society has been built around. Instant gratification, overnight demand. And as a net result, we have become completely dependent on it. So think about that. Put that in perspective for a few minutes. As I often laugh when people talk about cars and whatnot, and issues, going fast and everything else. And the only thing that goes through the back of my mind is, I drive knowing full well that every part in that car was supplied by the lowest bidder. Okay? You want to put your faith in the lowest bidder? do it every single day. Yeah, let that rattle around your heads for a second. We have become such a greedy society, and that's by design, right? It's to climb up everyone else's back to succeed in the material wealth world, and the compassion of the heart has just been left to the wayside. That's why the parasites run this particular system that they love so much. Do that because, well, one, they lack compassion. It was interesting. I was watching, don't watch them too often, but occasionally I'll get emails in from Charlie Veitch, and I only watched a few minutes of it. It's just the whole banter thing of, I love Charlie, but he's still so stuck in the systems thing. But anyway, he had approached this Goonie, ununiformed Goonie that was recording him with his iPad. And just the look on this guy's face said it all. This was a guy, just straight face and just nasty, typical, Bioborg. And it was about 10 seconds to look at this guy's energy. I just couldn't stomach it anymore. So I said, yeah, there's your typical cop for you. Anyway, and that's basically what we have in terms of the control of this system. I will say, had a really neat little message in from, let me just get back to it here. Not like I have to remember anybody's name. Where is it? Let me see if I got the right one here. Nope, one sec. It's actually a great little story. I will share it because this is what people need to hear to show that we are making a difference. It's Jane. That's right. Thank you, Jane. And I offered up my email as well. Now, here's what Jane has done. She sent. It's been said that the human body is 70%. Actually, I think it's a lot more than that. I think it's in the mid 80% water. So when you think in terms of imprinting water, now you know what an ego imprint is. So that's basically what you're doing. When you cast your intent out, that's what you're turning that water into. So yeah, it was great conversation with that, and I'm glad Darren and others chipped in and jumped all over that.
Yep,
I love learning too. So it's all good. And what's it, Dr. Emoto? I remember looking at his stuff a while back, the crystals and whatever, and look at that, it's real magic. Funny how that.
It is a blessing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the ego can even see it. It's proven in everything and scientifically, and oh my. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many of those cases out there that no one knows about. I mean, there's a healing modality, I think it's going by Quantum 2000, and it was actually approved by the FDA, reluctantly, but the awareness that those who created that or had that channeled through them gained while the FDA was trying to disprove it was far greater than they had ever would have been able to do with the means that they had. Their lab couldn't produce what the FDA could produce as far as testing it. So every time the FDA tried to disprove it, they actually proved the truth greater. And I'll try to remember I'll try to remember and find that link to the people that produced that, because I'm not sure about the name. There was naming issues around it, so. And it was literally approved by the FDA. It's one of the only healing modalities to achieve that truth, and it is based on intent and crossing your meridians, your energetic meridians.
You can't stop. Yeah, you can't stop the truth from getting through. Proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that's why those blue, green, and green, yellow algae are so good for you. I mean, I know obviously also the sea, all life came from the ocean, so that's why like a lot of the things from there is really good for you. Like alkalizing your body.
Well, certainly anything that's water based.
Yeah.
And it's living when you eat it. not including the eating live squid or octopus. That doesn't count.
No, algae, spirulina and chlorella.
Yes, yeah, the algae. Yeah, there's some great products out there.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
It's where I get my protein from because I can't eat meat anymore. Just the thought of it, well.
You know, there's a turkey cooked here on the weekend, and the funniest thing I ever heard. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's like, it's a carcass, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's baked skin and everything. But look, it's got such a lovely, no smile. Yeah, it's boy, they really dress things up nicely, eh? I just and again, you know, people want to do that. That's their thing. But it was interesting when Siobhan was going through the phases of food. And